Okay, here we are again. Oh, hang on. Table was just a little bit off there. I don't want to have to like pull back and strain myself because I've got the headphones in, and if the table's too far away, it'll make it easier to do that. So. Get my wristband on. The kink that was plaguing my neck and shoulder area, what was it, Saturday? Yeah. Is like 90% of the way gone. It's still there in one place on the one side, but it's not limiting my range of motion. So that's a good thing. I wish it would just get out of my body because it's annoying me, but hey, what can you do, right? It is what it is. It'll happen. I haven't had a kink in like quite a while, actually. But, well, I guess it happens to everybody. Oh, no kinks to be had in this game, though. We're on easy street at this point. Hang on. There we go. Hey, John, how's it going? Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. Yeah, good afternoon for you, because you're still on the West Coast, from my understanding. But welcome back. We are just about ready to start working on the end game of this game, and I am ready to boot it up because I've had a drink. I am strapped in with my wristband, so let's load up. How have you been, my friend? Been a little while, but that is all right. I've been away for a little while, but I think you were here since I came back at least once? I don't remember. It's been such a long summer. A short summer, but a long summer at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. A long summer because I don't remember most of what happened in it, but a short summer because it feels like I just got done with school, although that's probably because I was mentoring in the summer academy. So short and long at the same time. Not enough leisure time, but either way. We have a little bit of leisure here, as I said, because our team is absolutely stacked for the end game. This is what they look like. I think they leveled up off screen since the last time. Yeah, I think they were level 42 when I left all of you last time. Incidentally, speaking of which, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. I actually did a little bit of job level training off screen, just to bring everybody up to the point where probably by the time I'm done with the next 1, 2, 3 dungeons, they should all be job level 99, which would be good because after those 3 dungeons are finished, we'll unlock the ability to get rewards for them being a job level 99. I also reduced the gap between their experience point totals because I basically, when I did the job grinding, I just went over towards and like the starting towns and beat up goblins and stuff like that. So now everybody's within, let's see, looks like 20 experience of each other, which is significantly closer. Not that it really matters at this point in the game. We're getting thousands of experience from each battle, but yeah, they're all closer together at this point. Do I need to fix anything here? You've got poison arrows, that's fine. Milky Harp is fine. And there is an enemy in the next dungeon that is weak to fire, although, excuse me, we're kind of at the point where Angus hitting people with books is going to fall off pretty hard, but we'll see how that goes. Either way, our next destination is back at Doga's Manor, because if you may recall, Doga and Unei mentioned that once we got... where am I going? I gotta go this way. Once we got the Fang of Earth, we should go back and visit them. They'll probably be surprised that we went and got the Earth Crystal as well, but that's okay. We should go visit them because they have some sort of a reward for us, and we need the Nautilus to get back to the Manor, so let's go do that. Just head right back here, and there you go. This is the time, I mentioned it previously, but if you need to go and grab any enemies in the Cave of the Circle, it's probably best to do it while you're here, just because you're already coming back here anyway for the rewards, so might as well, right? Oh, okay, sure. Where do we find you? Are you in the Manor, or, like, what's the point of speaking telepathically if you're out? Okay. I was gonna say in the Manor, but apparently they're not in the Manor, they're at wherever this teleporting circle takes us in these tunnels, so... I should mention, I think it's worth mentioning, that this next area is the last area with missable enemies in the entire game. Make sure that you get all of them before you leave, because if you don't, you can't find them anywhere else. Except for Perryton. We actually fought that one in the sunken cave in a treasure chest. But there's 4 enemies in here that you can't find anywhere else. Ogre, Cyclops, Nemesis, and Humbaba. So make sure you grab those before you leave this place that we're going into, because if you don't, well, you can't get 100% bestiary. Sorry. But the place in reference is Doga's Grotto. Big circle dungeon, so let's circle our way down to the bottom of wherever we're going. I wonder if this is like a cave system underneath the manor. Possibly. It's got some unwelcome guests in it, though, as you can plainly see. So let's just see what we can do about them. Well, there's 2 enemies, so I'm going to try doing this, and then we can probably just get away with this. I think, so what I did off-screen as well as doing a little job level grinding is I got a bunch of these tier 3 items together. I actually got to job level 99 on Thief a little faster than I thought I was going to, so it started to get really annoying to get Heavenly Wraths, but I did get enough turtle shells to last for a little while, so shouldn't be a huge deal. That being said, hopefully we'll have enough of these attack items to get all the way to the end of the game, but I don't really think we'll have a problem. Once we get to job level 99, in regular encounters, Angus won't need to have a, get an actual turn in order for things to go well. He can kind of just stand pat and let Lunith do his thing. It's just getting him to that job level 99 that's important right now. Oh, there's one for Lunith and Refia right away. That's good. Oh, and Angus. Okay, so he's only got 2 more job levels and then he's all set. I also, as a part of the process of getting everybody's job levels, well, actually not part of the job levels part, but when I was getting everybody, not everybody, but getting the attack items while Eric was as a thief, I switched everybody off to like warrior, black mage, and white mage as well, because, well, to Lunith to warrior, and then Refia to black mage, and Angus to white mage. Just to gain some job levels on those. It's a good opportunity to gain those job levels, and as you can see by here, I mean, Lunith only got to level 80 on Warrior, but Refia is level 91 on Black Mage, and Angus is level 87 on White Mage, so grabbed a few levels, and it should be good for us, because that means that in a little while, when we get to the post-game and we need job level 99 on White Mage, we won't be too far behind. Now, I've already got that taken care of, off-screen, but, you know, if you needed to, that's one way you could do it. So, there you go. I'm going to try just booking this guy. I kind of wanted to see how much damage it deals. This is the first dungeon, by the way, where enemy HP just starts to balloon up like crazy. The area that you were probably supposed to go to before this was Bahamut's lair, and the enemies there had, like, you know, mid 2500-ish range, at the most a little over 3000 HP. Here, the weakest enemy has 4700 HP, and it's these Cyclopes, is the plural, actually. And they have almost 5000 HP. And that process of them getting lots more HP as we go along here is a trend that's going to continue. When we get into the final dungeon, the enemies will have, like, over 10,000 HP, each of them. So you're going to want to make sure you have pretty strong attacks to go with whatever you're doing. The books that we've been whacking people with Angus just won't cut it anymore, so... Which is why I want to get his job level as close to max as possible, as soon as possible. Because he won't be really contributing that much in battle after this, so... Can turn the music down or your voice up just a tad, slightly hard to hear you. Sure, let me see if I can fix this. It might just be the music in here. Let me see. Might just be the music in here is a little loud, I don't recall, but yeah, there we go. See how that works for you. Let's see. Another thing to keep in mind here is to make sure that you grab all the treasure chests as well, because, again, well, basically, just to give you an idea, once you leave this area, Doga and Unei will get rid of the summoning circle, so you can't come back here. So, just make sure you grab everything before you go. I don't think Angus is going to get a turn against this Parrington. So, that seems better. Okay, good. I didn't want to adjust it too much, but yeah, it might just have been a slight imbalance. I may have had it on 5 before. I know this part with the trumpets and the music is a little loud in the background, so that's probably also not helping. But there you go. I also might have, nope, okay. I was going to say it might have adjusted the mic down by accident somewhere, but no, apparently not. I don't think this is the way forward. No, this is a treasure room. Good. Glad I looked, because there's some good stuff in here, actually. Well, maybe the Lust Dagger is not exactly good stuff, but the Rising Sun is pretty good. It's another throwing weapon, and so now you can finally replace the boomerang that we've been using with Eric before this. You only ever get one of those in the entire game, though, so this Rising Sun, where is it? There it is. So, and it's got 70 attack power, so as you can see, a little stronger than the boomerang. You only ever get one, though, so make sure you don't sell it if you're planning on using throwing weapons on, like, a thief or a ninja or something like that, so... Excuse me. Hey, Pale God, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Saw the stream randomly on YouTube, recommended, and decided to check it out. Played this game a while ago, but never got far into it. Job system's just not for you. Yeah, that's fair enough. It's not for everybody, so I completely understand that. I've been trying to take malicious advantage of the job system wherever I can in this game, though, so we'll see if it works a little bit better for you when you see the way that I've used the jobs, but hopefully everything will be entertaining. Thanks for checking it out. I appreciate it. We are quite a ways into the game, actually. We're going to be getting close to the final dungeon very soon. Well, final dungeons, I should say. After this dungeon, actually, is when we're going to go confront that, so... We'll see how it all goes. You played the Final Fantasy IV remake for a bit longer, so you mean the 3D one that was on the DS, or do you mean the 2D one? Because there was a couple of remakes of Final Fantasy IV. There was the 2D one that was on the GBA, there was the 2D one on the PSP, and then there was the 3D one on the DS, so there's a few different versions. For the PSP remaster of it, yeah. I prefer that version as well, so... It's just, I don't know. It's less obnoxious with its difficulty, I think, but I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it a little more because that's the version of 4 I'm going to play eventually through the stream as well, so we'll have a chance to talk about it later. So. Lost progress on that too, and your tablet broke where you played on. Oh, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Art in the PSP Final Fantasies are beautiful. Yeah, I would agree, honestly. I think that the sprite work in those has aged better than some of the 3D model stuff that they did in other games. I don't mind this one, though. Incidentally, this one is also on the PSP, and that's the what I'm playing it on. But yeah, I don't mind the art in this one. I think the concept art that Akihiko Yoshida made helps this one go quite a long ways, but yeah, so... Oh, Refia, you haven't gotten your job level yet? I guess Lunith must have gotten it from attacking more. I don't know. The one that has the same graphics as this one on Android, or now you use iOS? Yeah, so there's, yeah, so this version of the game originally came out on DS, and then it was released on... I think the 3D version was released on Steam at some point, but it was also released on the PSP and on mobile phones, so... And then there's the Pixel Remaster, which came out later. Yeah, something like that. Also, it's bundled with the sequel, though in hindsight, it's not exactly the most fun. Yeah, the PSP remaster of 4, yeah. I have that version, and it's bundled with the After Years. And to be quite honest, I haven't finished the After Years. I've only played a very small section of it, like right at the beginning. I tried it out a couple of days ago just to see if I was like, hey, do I remember this or no? And I do remember playing a little bit of it, but I also remember it, first of all, putting me off right away. I don't really know why. I think it was just because it's more 4, and I had played it right after 4. And 4, I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't find it fun on a replay. And so then if I played it right after 4, it's like, okay, I think that's too much 4, you know? But I also have heard other people say many not so nice things about the After Years, and I guess I've sort of just accepted that as fact, even though I haven't really looked at it for myself. Maybe I'll have to rectify that at some point, but for now I'm kind of okay to rest on my laurels with it. But yes, hello Eggy Egg, welcome back. We're in Doga's Grotto at the moment. After this we can go to the final dungeons, although I think it's going to take us a little while with those because we got to go in and then back out again, so... Oh, there's the job level I was waiting for. Just generally prefer the 3D graphics, but you get people who prefer the original 2D. You bought the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster earlier this year, but you haven't played it a lot. You're into Persona and SMT at the moment. I get that. I've got a couple of plans for Persona and SMT in the future as well. As a matter of fact, one from each series, because I've already played a few of them. So, there you go. And, yeah, so I get that thought process, but... Yeah, I've played the Pixel Remaster of 6. It's actually the only Pixel Remaster I would personally recommend, because I just don't really find the other ones all that appealing, personally, but, I mean, I guess that's just me. Am I on the last floor before? Yeah, I'm right at the end here, so now, what have we seen? We've pretty much seen exclusively Cyclops enemies, and then one Periton. There's Ogres, Nemesis, and Humbaba. I'll look around for a little bit, just a few battles to see if I can find them while we're here, but those are the ones you want to get, because if you don't get them before you leave here, you won't get them at all. So. Would have dropped After Years if the After Years didn't have a certain playable character. If you know, you know. It's not ringing a bell, but I am sure if I thought about it in terms of like who you'd want to be playable in Final Fantasy IV for a little bit, I would probably be able to guess. So 99 skill, that's what it takes to get all these arrows to fire. Absolutely. Ah, that's a heck of a username you've got there. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? We're in Doga's Grotto, just wandering around looking for random enemies for a few battles to see if I can find them for the bestiary. I already have them on a separate save file, so I'm not really worried about it if we don't find them, and I've already told you what they are, so... But there you go. Subscribe, might check out other streams in the future. I appreciate that, Pale God. I can't promise it'll be all JRPGs or anything like that in the future. I kind of play a little bit of everything. I try to alternate between RPGs and other non-RPG games as I go. So, can't promise it'll be all RPGs, but I try to take a unique approach to each game as I go. So. Okay, Humbaba, are you the one weak to fire? No, Nemesis is weak to fire. Okay, but Humbaba does have the most HP, so, and here's the Ogre as well. That's 2 out of 3, and that ain't bad. Be candid, you prefer the rougher sprites of the GBA versions than the smoothened pixel remasters. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it just... If I'm quite honest, the reason why I enjoyed the Pixel Remaster of 6, and I haven't really wanted to pick up the other ones, I guess, I don't know if the graphics really put me off so much as other decisions they made. I get the idea, though, behind it. Like, it just feels like the graphics on the PSP versions, specifically of these games, the 2D ones anyway, have aged a little bit better, in my opinion. So, I understand the idea. The reason why I liked 6's Pixel Remaster, I'll be entirely honest, it's probably fairly petty. The mechanics on the Velt in the Pixel Remaster of 6 are the best in any version of the game that's ever been made, because they're the most convenient mechanics for the Velt that they've ever been. And that's pretty much the only reason why I picked it up. Because I like using Gao in the party, and having convenient access to some of his maneuvers and some of his skills was enough of a reason to push me over the edge and make the purchase. So, watch a bit longer and leave the stream on in the background. I appreciate that, Pale God. Thanks for sticking around. Flying cow or flying bull. Yeah, this game's... We talked about it a little bit previously, but this game's enemy designs are, interesting, I guess is the word for it. I don't know. There's something, that's for sure. Okay, well, Angus is still getting left behind with HP values, but he's on Scholar, so that's not really shocking. I will talk about how I fixed that, though, when we get to the final dungeon. I'm just going to try one more encounter, see if I can find those nemesis. If I can't, then, well, they just know that they look like those Did we find the other guys that are their palette swaps? They look like Scythers, basically, only they're shiny-looking Scythers. Okay, that's not a shiny Scyther, that's a... I don't even know which shiny Pokemon, which shiny dragon type is red. I don't hunt for shinies, so I wouldn't have the first idea. Either way, he's going down. Yeah, the old strongly D&D inspired monsters of the early Final Fantasies. Yeah, that's pretty much where a lot of the inspiration, I feel like, came from for at least the first 3. They started to fall into traditional habits, like certain ones that they've had around in the series pretty often after the first 3, but at this point they're still trying to get their stride with it, you know? But yeah, like I said, the only one we haven't seen is Nemesis, so keep looking around. It's on any floor, as far as I'm aware. The unfortunately, Sepharaga's guide starts to fall off at this point because he doesn't have the actual like spawn rates on each floor. But the room's getting symmetrical here, so this is going to be where things are going to start to get a little hectic. And by that I mean, you know what happens in other places when the rooms get symmetrical. Speaking of Scythers, you decided to go to Cleavor for the first time ever in one of the games. Nice. That's the bug rock type one, right? With the stone axes for arms. I didn't play Legends, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other, so. Got hella views for uploading remixes from that Metal Gear Rising. Still haven't played it enough, even though you have a copy. Yeah, I got my 15 minutes of fame off of that. It came and went, and now I'm just doing what I did before those streams, or before those mixes came out, and, you know, still just hanging out doing that stuff. I don't really value... I mean, I appreciate people watching them, but I don't really value the views of those highly in the way that other people do, where they're like, I gotta chase the fame now. No, like, just, it happened, it doesn't happen anymore, I'm okay with it, you know? Like, I appreciate, like I said, people watching them, but I'm not gonna chase clout. That seems silly, you know? And, like, a lot of people, I've had people ask me, when are you gonna make more mixes for Metal Gear Rising? It's like, what else is there to mix? Like, there are certain situations where I've mixed the same song twice from the soundtrack. It's starting to get redundant here. I don't really see what else I could do with it, but I guess I could always do mixes for other games, but I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so how do we do that exactly? What do you mean? Are we going to have to take your energy from your bodies? Listen to me closely. We're both immortal, and we both continue to age. If we keep going, we're going to be miserable for the next thousands of years. Please release us from this mortal coil. Are you sure? I mean, some of those weapons are good, but I'm pretty sure out of all of them, the only one we'll use is... There's only one of them we'll actually use, because we're not using Ninja. So, there's like 2 weapons for Ninja in Eureka. It's kind of ridiculous. That seems like a heck of a loophole, but okay. I don't think they're gonna give you a choice there, Lunith. Isn't that gonna be a bit of a problem? If we die, how do we defeat Xande? Or are you gonna do that if we die? Okay. Oh, good lord, Doga, you didn't have to turn yourself inside out. Like, holy hell, man. Think of these people are children. Think of the children here. Anyway, Doga turned into a giant beating heart, so now we have to beat the ever-loving hell out of his giant beating heart. I think he's got like 24,000 HP or something like that, so I don't really think this is gonna be a problem, honestly. Okay, but being a Lich is awesome. This isn't a Lich. Yeah, that's the problem, right? Is his powered-up form is a beating heart with its aorta hanging out with eyeballs that twitch. That's not a Lich. That's a hellish demon spawn. A fate worse than death, even. Imagine powering up and turning into your own heartbeat. What the hell? Probably play the Metal Gear series again once that Metal Gear Solid 2 remake release. Oh, they're re-releasing Metal Gear Solid 2? That's interesting. Like, remaking it. Stopped where at the point you encounter that sniper in the woods and you think he dies if you don't play for a while. Oh, okay, yeah, so that's the one in Metal Gear Solid 3, right? Where if you leave the game for a week and you come back, he dies of old age. I've heard of that one, yeah. Excuse me. Or it sounds awesome, but yeah, this isn't a lich. Give Nomura a few more games, I bet he'll do it. Yeah, fair enough. Oh boy. Well, we're getting up there in job levels, but also we just smacked Doga into the ground, like, very quickly, so... Oh, you mixed up 2 with 3? Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, so they are... I remember they are re-releasing Metal Gear Solid 3. Delta or something like that is the subtitle now. I mean, Unei, I guess, but... As Professor Oak always says, there's a time and place for everything, but not now. Well, maybe you should have said that up front. I would have been more, willing? I don't know if willing is the right word. I kind of, like, murdered Doga with extreme prejudice once I saw that he turned himself inside out. Anyway, here's Unei. She's, I think if I remember correctly, she's actually really fast, so she might get her turn off before Lunith does. And throw an Aeroga at the party, which would be not very nice, but, you know, it'll be alright, I think. At least she didn't, like, turn inside out when she transformed, but... That being said, she did not last either. Arm strength is such a broken stat, man. Like, oh my lord. Incidentally, though, Doga and Unei... So Unei only has, like, 21,000 HP, which means she's only got, like, 3 times the HP of those Humbabas that we fought on the way here. Well, the one Humbaba we fought on the way here, so... And only a little more than double that of Periton, so if you can handle those guys, you can probably handle these ones. They will cast Holy and Flare on you eventually, though, so that could be a bit of a problem. So... Oh, okay, thanks. You don't want me to take the key around your neck, or is that the key to the manor? How will the Mughals get in and out? They won't! Okay, fair enough. I don't know how that works, but sure. But yeah, as the Earth Crystal mentioned to us, the Circus Tower and the Crystal Tower are our final destination there. And we've actually already destroyed the statues that he just talked about, but that's okay. So courage, kindness, affection, and determination. So which crystals correspond to which there? It's a little different from how they do it in Final Fantasy V. Well, we'll try. I mean, don't you need both, though? Oh, yeah, it'd be kind of hard to go fight Xande if we didn't have the key to the tower itself, so... Thanks. So yeah, defeating Doga and Unei not only lets you unlock the way to Eureka, it also lets you actually complete the final dungeon, because you wouldn't get much farther than the first floor if you didn't come here. That being said, what did it cost? Both of my old people. This is a design choice of all time to put in front of 4 kids. Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's a way to have this all work. Ugh, excuse me, sorry. It's a way to get them to have PTSD, I think, but, you know. Alright, anyway, like I said, make sure you grab all the enemies before you leave here. Got everything you need? Hope so, because once you teleport, you can't find them again. And just to stress that point, we can teleport to leave, but if you go back in, well, because their bodies are gone, the teleporter's gone. So, yeah, definitely make sure you grab everything from there before you leave, so... Said you're almost at the end, didn't quite catch it earlier, just saw the levels were 40-something. Yeah, we're just about ready to go into... As a matter of fact, now we are ready to go into the final dungeons. Now, with that being said, the final dungeons in this game are a little tricky, because once you get through the first one, there's 3 more dungeons after that, and there are no save points at any point in time in between those. So, I would not recommend doing all of them, like, back to back to back, because then if you happen to get a game over anywhere for some reason, you would lose all that progress, and that's a lot of progress to lose. So I would actually recommend, what we're going to do is we're going to actually make multiple passes. So I'm going to go through the first of the 4 final dungeons, and then there's a save point after that one. And then we're going to tackle the other 3 dungeons kind of one after the other here. So basically I have a plan, that's the point. Especially since I have to leave the... You know, why did I go get the holy water from the pot? I could have just rested on Invincible here. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, basically we're going to have to go into one of the final dungeons, one of the final 3, and then leave it and go all the way back out from the 4th to last dungeon. It'll make more sense later, but we're going to have to leave and come back in order to grab our job level 99 items, because they won't spawn until after that. So... It's a duality of all time. Yeah, there you go. Just, you meant the raw-beating heart old man and the uncomfortably curvaceous monster old woman. Yeah, that was some kind of a design choice, yes. For what it's worth, she is not that curvy in her normal sprite work. Those curves were added because of the 3rd dimension that this game has. I just rested at the Invincible because I said that, even though I didn't need to rest at it. Whoops. Want to play SMT1 soon? Already installed it on an emulator on your phone, and you heard that the last dungeon is a drag. Wonder how bad it's going to be. That's a good question. The earliest SMT game that I played, and actually the only one outside of Digital Devil Sagas 1 and 2, is Nocturne. So I couldn't tell you how much of a drag it'll be, but hopefully not too much. Because when the final areas are a drag, it kind of, like, that whole primacy and recency rule where you remember the first and last things about a game, if the last thing you do is a real drag, it can kind of almost drag the whole experience down, which is not so good. Oh, and don't worry about using up the Yoichi arrows that we used up in the boss fight there. We're going to have to go back to Falgabard in just a little bit anyway, so we'll have a chance to restock on them before we get too far here. So, it's a retro SMT, so expect suffering. I guess that's one way to put it. Eric, can you KO these guys with low-key harp support and fire support? Excuse me, speaking of fire support. This is ground team to Hurdy and Gurdy. I need cannons now. 10-4, Hurdy and Gurdy firing cannons. I just love that. That's so goofy. Just shoot the cannonball almost directly at the bow of the ship, or the larboard side of the ship. Okay, you can KO even though you're just punching with 0 attack. Works for me. Probably going to be way easier than Nocturne, though. I mean, so having played Nocturne, it's definitely got some points in time where it's pretty ridiculous, but I don't know. I guess I'm used to it at this point, though. I've beaten it on hard mode, so... That's not a flex, it literally is just something I managed to work through using the game's mechanics to my advantage, so... This is a good opportunity to get Ingus closer to job level 99, beating up these easy enemies. Guess the Harpies decided to bless us with their presence one last time before we make it to the final dungeon there. Fair enough. Yeah, there we go. So now Ingus should be, if I was looking at that correctly, job level 99, right? Yes he is. Okay, good. That being said, we're going to make a quick job change once we get over here in just a second, because there's actually something I would like to switch to. And that switch is going to be for Eric, who is still working on job level 95, but that's okay. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to make the switch just yet. We'll make the switch when we get closer to the point where it actually matters. I want to switch him back to Thief, because if I switch him back to Thief before we get to the last floor of this area, the Ancient's Maze, if I switch him back to Thief, then if I run into an enemy, the enemy that I'm looking for that has a premium steal, I can just steal it without wasting the opportunity. So let's do that real quick. When we get there. Hopefully I remember to do that. Let's see, anything I don't need? Don't need this Lust Dagger. Again, if anything sells for 1, it might be better to just deposit it with Fat Chocobo, but I won't need it, so I'm not really worried about it. keeping the rune staff because I can actually equip this on White Mage as one of 2 weapons that they can have for the end game. They don't get an end game job level 99 weapon, they get a job level 99 piece of armor instead. So you aren't really limited in that department. It doesn't really matter which of these tomes he has because none of them are going to be particularly good. Keep the rune axe for now. Although, if you get warrior to job level 99, you actually get an upgraded axe that gives plus 20 strength, which will go very nicely with something else that I'll show off in just a little bit. But yeah, keep both of these for now because Eric is going to be able to equip those soon enough. And I guess keep all of that stuff as well. Although, you know what? I won't need these thief gloves, so we can get rid of those too. I'll keep the black cowl and the black garb because I will need those. And I'll keep the rune axe for now until later, I guess. But I think that's it. We're all head full, so let's go down, we'll save, and then we'll head into the Ancient's Maze. Let's see what everybody said there. Hang on. Restarted Nocturne on hard because your save data was lost and you didn't get that far yet, but you remember how hard Matador was. Not hard on normal. Yeah, Matador is pretty difficult. There isn't really a lot of good demons that you can use on Matador that actually helps mitigate his damage. Although there are a few. If I remember correctly, there's at least one demon that you can find that, like, absorbs wind before that point. Or at the very least, nullifies it. And there's a couple that resist wind, so that can help a little bit. You can equip something that lets you resist wind as well. It doesn't really help with his Andalusia attack, but, you know, you can mitigate as much as you want in that department. Or, if you get lucky, if I remember correctly, there is a way to get an attack mirror before you fight him, and that just has him annihilate himself if he focuses and then Andalusias. Just manage debuffs XD. Yeah, and I mean, Tsukikaja really helps in that fight as well, so let's not discount that. If you can dodge him, that makes him a lot more manageable, but that's literally just SMT in a nutshell, so. Playing SMT 5 Vengeance on hard right now. Difficult, but you like the difficulty in that game. Playthrough just takes way longer than it would on normal. Yeah, and fair enough. Genuinely appreciate games that force you to engage with their mechanics. Yeah, same here as well. Don't you remember who you used to win against Matador the first time? You know nobody died and went smoothly, but no idea who you used. I'm trying to think who I used the last time I did it. If I remember correctly, it's like Nozumi or Nozuchi. I think it's Nozuchi, actually. It's the one with the elephant nose. It resists wind, if I remember correctly. I know Uzume is the one that either voids or absorbs wind. There's a few around that level that have some decent attacks as well. I don't remember if he has a weakness. I don't think so. You could also just abuse, like, Dark Might, because Jack Frost gets that, so you could just go there on a new Kagetsuchi cycle and then just smack him upside the head with crits after crits after crits, but, you know. Not going to play Nocturne on hard since it would be too frustrating. Yeah, I understand that, honestly. If you want to, when we play Nocturne for the stream, we will be playing it on hard, so you can watch me suffer instead. Maybe on a second playthrough if you ever do one. Well, and even Nocturne does give you an excuse to go ahead and do a second playthrough. There's a reward that you can get for doing the bonus dungeon that's only available on a second playthrough, so probably not a bad idea at some point eventually to do. Alright, Ancient's Maze time. I'm not really worried about finding all the enemies here, because we'll probably find all of them in the last room just looking for the guy that I'm looking for, so. Excuse me. Alright, since Angus is already job level 99, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and have Luneth just barrage everything to death. If Angus gets his turn, so be it. If he doesn't, then okay, that's fine. Let's see, new enemies in the area. There's 4 new enemies outside. Death Needle, Liger, Aeon, who we already fought because we got the Orichalcum, and then Minotaur. So you can always grab those, but we'll be going back outside anyway, so it'll be pretty easy to find those guys. I think Minotaurs are more available in the plains, everything else in the forest. And then inside the Ancient's Maze, Ironclaw's Greater Demon, a clone of someone we've seen recently, Thanatos, Bone Dragon, and then the guy that I'm actually looking for, who is only available on the very last screen of the Ancient's Maze. So, and it's a 1% encounter rate, but knowing my luck, if I didn't have Thief for that, and I didn't equip Thief for that, I would, like, run into him and not be able to steal from him. We got a Crystal Shield just there. It's better defensively than the Aegis Shield. It just doesn't protect against all the status ailments the Aegis Shield does. That being said, Eric has an Aegis Shield already equipped, so hey, doesn't hurt to have one of each equipped. And we'll get the rest of the crystal equipment as we go through the area here. So, one set anyway. So if you've got like multiple characters that can equip heavy armor, you'll need to get a second set, which you'll be able to get later. Speaking of which, there's another piece, the crystal mail. Stick that on right there. How's your defense doing now, Eric? Ooh, that's nice. 127, 73 is not bad at all. Actually, 73 is almost as much magic defense as you guys have, right? Yeah, 77. Pretty good. Lunith, you should take some notes. Not that you're here to be defensive, you're here to be offensive. The exact opposite. Yeah, Beast Die. Now I wish for 2 more turns. Probably watch that since you can just sit back and play something since you won't miss much. It'd also be cool if you did one, the alignment that you won't play. Noe's Chaos, Law, and True Demon. Might play Law, unlike some characters in that group, or they somehow convince you. Yeah, so there's multiple different endings in Nocturne as well. So there's like a Law ending, a Chaos ending, the True Demon ending, the regular Demon ending, and then the Freedom ending, if I remember correctly, and that's all of the endings. There might also be a bad ending in there somewhere that I just am misremembering, but there's like 5 endings in that game, so quite a lot of variety. I think my initial thought process, just based on what I have done in the game before this is like I would want to get the Freedom ending and the True Demon ending on screen. Probably Freedom ending first, and then show True Demon ending after that, but we'll see. You never know. I might change my mind. More white musks to throw. Have to use those on boss fights, although there's going to be some boss fights coming up, but they're a little bit of a ways away from here, so. There's some crystal gloves. Definitely hold on to these, but we're actually going to be replacing them with something else in, like, another room or two, so. But hold on to these, because if you don't have the maximum amount of defense possible for the super boss... Oh, there's Thanatos. Nice. Still don't know where the horse's head is, but fair enough. But yeah, if you don't have... let's see. Did I throw a white musk at you? I'm going to do that. Why not? I'm pretty sure Lunith will KO, but might as well just make sure, right? Guarantee it. Yeah, definitely hold on to the crystal gloves, though, because if you don't have the absolute maximum amount of defense possible for the super boss, it will be much harder to survive. Just take my word for it. You won't have to take my word for it for much longer, because we'll be showing the super boss, but, you know, we'll go from there. Law ending just sounds boring, but maybe you'll like some of the characters who are in that alignment group. Haven't completed a single SMT game yet, but you want to change that this year. Yeah, and that's, I think, a good way to start it is just picking up one that, you know, sounds interesting and giving it a shot, so I say go for it. Alright, there's the crystal helm, so we now have full crystal gear. Definitely going to finish Raido and DDS 1 and 2 this year. I finished, I didn't play Raido, but I did play DDS 1 and 2. Oh, is that a clone of Unei? Really? Yeah, so this is the clone I was just talking about. Apparently, she's just been, Xande has been cloning people for some reason. I don't know why, but whatever. Yeah, I played DDS 1 and 2 for the stream a while back when I was cleaning out my log of PS2 games that I had to play. I really enjoyed DDS 1 and 2. I enjoyed DDS 2 more than 1, but they were both very good, so. Got physical copies of all of them. Not sure if you'll get the remake yet. Yeah, gotcha. Well, I had physical copies of DDS 1 and 2 as well, and, I mean, they ran fine. The graphics, obviously, were a little bit lower res than this, but that's because this is on an emulator, so, you know, that's going to happen. Oh, there's a break blade. Can inflict gradual petrify on your enemies, just like the golem stabs, so. Another Chocobo's Wrath. Like I said, they really start to throw these attack items at you late in the game in the treasure chest, so you should have quite a few of those. Here's Greater Demon, weak to Holy, but he's also weak to Death by 1,000 arrows, so, you know. Could sell your original Raido 1 so that you can buy the second entry, but they'll probably remake that too soon. Yeah, I mean, the first... when they remade the first Raido, my understanding, it didn't come out that long ago, but my understanding is that a lot of people really enjoyed it, and if that is reflected in sales, they might have an incentive to make the second one, so. Remake the second one, that is. So. I think that your thought process there makes sense. Dual Haken. So that's a an axe that we could give to either... Actually, it's probably better than the rune axe, isn't it? Because I'm pretty sure a warrior can equip that. Whoops, that's not going to do it. Can't look at it in the equip menu either, because it won't show up if I can't equip it. Yeah, 122 versus the 110 of this. Although the Breakblade has 125, so it might be better even to just keep that instead of either of these axes. Fair enough. Just thinking in terms of like what to give to warrior until it gets to job level 99. So probably Breakblade and then the other weapon that we're going to be getting soon enough. You know, quite honestly, I don't really see the maze part of this place. I mean, I guess I'm wandering back and forth, but not really all that mazy. It was a little more mazy in the Final Fantasy XIV raid, where you had to go left, and then you had to go right, and then you had to go center, and then you had to go down or up or some direction. I don't really know, to be honest. I think it was up, but it didn't really show where you went at the very end. But the Raido 1 remake was leaked about a year ago, but you were too lazy to sell your copy of the original. Well, that's okay. I mean, if you've already got it, it's like, you know, might as well play this version because I don't have to pay any money to get it, you know, rather than having to pay money to get something you already own. That doesn't make sense. So. Well, we're almost to that room that I need to switch Eric over to Thief on now. If I keep telling myself that, maybe I'll actually remember to do it. Oh, God. How much HP do these guys have anyway? Let's see. Those are guys outside. These Iron Claws have 5,760 HP, and literally everything else in here has over 10,000. You see what I mean about enemy HP starting to just inflate? Like, Jesus. Come on, guys. I know that at this point we've got Bahamut and all that other stuff, but that doesn't mean I have the MP to cast him over and over. Like, holy... Probably one of the reasons why people gravitate toward physical attackers so much in this game, because, I mean, you have to stick them in the front row, but their attacks are free. There's another Protect Ring for us, the second one, and I'd actually recommend, it might be a little unorthodox, but I'd recommend giving that to your melee specialist, especially if you have a Viking. The reason for that is that it gives them a little less physical defense, but it, as I said with the other one, it cuts all elemental damage by 50%. And usually your physical attackers, their armor is more geared towards physical defense than magical defense, so this will, despite lowering their physical defense, actually make him, Eric in this case, even more tanky than he was previously, because he's got so much magic defense. I mean, he's got 91 magic defense even without the consideration of the having elemental damage thing, so it'll probably help him pretty good. So... Where's the shell ring that has non-elemental physical damage? Probably in the after years, actually. The after years added a lot of, like, arm accessories for the characters that have random effects, like, not random effects, but, like, different buffs and elemental effects. So, if I had to guess, I'd say probably in the after years. So, gotta watch some comparison, but you think it lost some of its charm, but overall the character models look better and brighter. Gameplay's definitely better in the remake. They made a ton of improvements. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, they had a few years to figure that stuff out, so they probably tried to figure out what worked and what didn't, you know. How long do you think the last dungeon is going to take to complete in this game? So, with the party setup that I have, if we were to go through the final dungeon, this is just the final 2 dungeons, because they're back-to-back with no save point. If we were to go through the whole final dungeons back-to-back, getting all the treasures along the way, it would take probably about 2 hours. I don't expect to get through all of that tonight. I do expect to get through the rest of the Ancient's Maze, which is like one more screen, the optional area, Eureka, and then probably what I'm going to do, so that way I can save the finale for tomorrow's stream, is I'm going to raid the Crystal Tower, grab all the treasures, and then teleport out and save, and then we'll just do the whole finale tomorrow. Like, we'll rerun through the tower and do that. But yeah, my expectation is about 2 hours, and I mean, if I did that, we could get through it in about 2 more hours, but I don't want to rush it, you know what I mean? So anyway, let's switch over to Thief now. And the reason why I don't want to rush it is because we're going to have to leave in a little bit to get a few things. First of all, for this, because I need Eric to steal something. But yeah, after this, we're going to need to steal this something twice, basically. But once we have both of the steals, then it should be a little easier to, you know, go through the rest of the areas. I'll tell you what that is in just a minute. Yeah, I've played this before, a couple of times, actually. So, I have... Before this playthrough, I have not beaten the superboss of this game, but that will change very soon. So, by Thursday, because that's when we're going to be... I'm expecting to fight the superboss. So, there's a Holy Lance. I guess at this point, if you're still using Dragoon, there you go, but... In any case, this room is the room where, well, I guess every enemy that you can fight in the Ancient's Maze can spawn, but on top of that, there's a very specific enemy that I'd like to try to find while I'm here, so I'm going to run around a little bit and see if I can find it. It's not a particularly common encounter, and that's another reason why I said, you know what, let's split this into two, is because if I don't find the enemy before, you know, from running around here, then I'm going to want to find it off screen so I can steal a couple of the items from it. But you need a job level 99 thief in order to steal the items from it, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, there's the exit right there, but let's wander around the room a little bit more just to see if we can find what we're looking for. I'll fight like 5 more encounters in here. See if we can find it. If Thanatos keeps showing up, I'm probably not going to have much luck, but, you know, it'll be fine. Oh, I should mention as well, I don't actually need... So you get a reward, I think I mentioned this kind of a little bit already, but you get a reward for getting each job to job level 99 from a specific NPC that we'll be seeing a little bit later today. But I don't actually need the reward for job level 99 Viking, which is why I'm not really super concerned about the fact that Eric is in a different job than Viking right now. I do want him to get the job level 99 in Viking, but he doesn't need it as badly as, for example, Lunith and Refia do in Ingus, because they actually want the items that we're going to get as rewards, whereas Eric doesn't really care. He just wants crystal equipment. So, and he has that now. And the Protect Ring, which he also has. So, you know, that helps. More Thanatos, huh? Have I even found all of the actual enemies in this dungeon? I'm not even sure. Let me look. Let's see. We found Iron Claws, we found Greater Demon, we found Unei's Clone, we found Thanatos. There's one enemy we haven't found yet in here, but they should be available on this screen. Matter of fact, I'm almost 100% sure they are available on this screen. I shouldn't even be using Barrage, honestly. I should just be using, whatchamacallit, this regular physical attack, because that's good enough for our purposes here. And again, I know Ingus is falling behind on HP. When we get into the actual Crystal Tower proper, I'll talk about how you can fix that. Excuse me. Actually got Raido as a playable character from a mobile gacha game a week ago. Oh yeah, DX2, I remember that one. Has a 7.5 anniversary right now, and you were lucky enough not to miss it and get him by making new accounts over and over again. Hey, if it works, right? But yeah, congrats on grabbing him. I didn't play... DX2. Quite honestly, I've never really been all that into, like, mobile/gacha games, so it's just not to my taste. But it's good that you got them. Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit through these because we've seen this battle already. Ingus got a turn, that's nice. Isn't that the game with Sonic the Hedgehog? Yeah, Sonic's in that one. He's like a collab, basically, with them. That's probably the only reason why I know DX2, honestly, is because I was like, what do you mean Sonic's in an SMT game now? Oh, that's goofy, but yeah, that's it. So. Now, for a Greater Demon, you're kind of a tiny fella. Let's see. How many more laps do we want to do around this place? How much more Top Gear am I willing to stand? Tonight on Top Gear, Lunith wears a hat, Ingus beats people to death with books, and Refia sings until her voice gives out. I think we'll do like 3 more laps around the room. How about that? Played it during the, is that 6th anniversary? Yeah, for at least a few weeks, but quit it after you didn't get the 3rd character that you wanted. Crazy to think you wouldn't have quit if you had gotten that one demon back then. Didn't save that account and lost it. Ah, that sucks. Sucks that you didn't get it, and sucks that you lost the account too, but... Well... I don't know, I guess it depends on your purchasing habits with the game, and how much, whether you save money or not after the fact, like after you dropped it. How am I doing? Okay, plenty of sleep arrows left, and I've got so much ammunition, I really don't even think I need to worry about it, but... It's another good reason to leave here, though, after going through Eureka, is because you're going to probably want to restock on ammo before you get up to the final areas, especially if you've been using some of the higher-end ammo, like Medusa arrows and magic arrows, because those ones are stronger, but they also you also might use them up, and they can still come in handy if you don't have Yoichi arrows, or you don't want to use the Yoichi arrows on anything other than bosses. Excuse me. And just fast forward. So we'll do, I think I've gone around 1.5 times, I'm not sure, but we'll do 2 more laps just for the hell of it. 2 more laps starting from the top of the area, because then I'll just leave if I don't find them. I'll tell you what it is, though, if we don't find them. I'd rather it be a surprise, but if you've played the Ancient's Maze raid in Final Fantasy XIV, you may remember one of the bosses in that area. He is also an enemy that you... Oops, no, I actually don't want to do that. Well, I mean, I guess I could do that. It's fine. Probably Eric can KO this one with haste buff and Angus support. One of the bosses shows up as a 1% encounter in this area, and well, he's got something I want. Oh, you guys can't do it with support. Okay, well, then I guess I know for next time. Wait, hang on. There we go. What's your favorite game series, or name multiple? Gosh, that's a tough question. I don't think I have a favorite game series specifically, but just ones that I've consistently enjoyed since, like, I started playing them. I think most Final Fantasy games I've enjoyed since I started playing them. I usually stick to, like, the main line series, though, so that might be part of it. The Yakuza series, I've only played 0, but I've heard really good things about the rest of the series. Let's see, what else? I haven't really played enough of Zelda. I've only played a little of Link's Awakening and a little of Breath of the Wild, but I enjoyed both of those. Nothing else is coming to mind at this point in time. I don't know if I play specifically series or I focus on specific series. I kind of just play whatever I feel like playing and roll with it, you know. Let's see, let's sing Pan again, because Eric is -7 on his HP from topped off. Gotta maintain my focus. That's a different game's buff, excuse me, but, you know. Other series that I enjoy, I mean, I guess the Souls series as well, I enjoy. Oh, okay, well, we didn't find the enemy I'm looking for, but here's the other enemy besides that guy that's in here, Bone Dragon. So, zombie dragon palette swap. Fair enough. Used to like the Metal Gear series, but you think Hideo Kojima sucks since he got kicked out of Konami. Death Stranding is just not for you, and he became woke. Well, I don't know if my, like... So I've only ever played Metal Gear Rising, so I don't really know enough about Kojima to know whether or not his departure or his, like, influence was what made the series great. Like I said, I've only played Rising, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other, but, I don't know, I just never really... I'm trying to remember if I ever saw any marketing for Death Stranding, and I don't think I ever did. I don't know, so... Love the Yakuza series, yeah, it's, like I said, I've only played 0, but it's pretty good from what I've played of it, so... We need some more Mono Souls plays. Yeah, I'm working on that, John. I've got one in the I've got 2 more that I'm planning on playing, actually, alongside playthroughs of Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 1 that I've already done. So, I'm working on it. Won't be too long. You played every single entry except that one zombie shooter on PS3. It's too expensive now. In the Yakuza series, let me think. Dead Souls, is that the one? I feel like I've made enough laps around here. I feel like I've heard of Dead Souls, but the zombie one, that's what's tripping me up there, is that maybe that's what it is, so. Play Yakuza Like a Dragon, the JRPG on hard, it's amazing. So, can I say a hot take? It doesn't really, the last two Yakuza games, their JRPG mechanics don't really appeal to me. I don't know why. I've watched gameplay trailers of them, and I'm like, I don't have any desire to play this. I don't know, like I said, I don't know why that is, but I've looked at them, and they just don't look like they're for me. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but just from a first impression, it doesn't look like something I'd actively enjoy playing. I don't know why. I'd have to really, like, look inward, I think, to figure that one out, but I don't know. And like I said, I haven't played it, so that's literally just me spitballing. I could be completely off base with that, so. They upped up the difficulty in the second game, and they locked hard difficulty to New Game Plus, and need to buy a DLC too to unlock it. Wow. That's a lot. It sounds like some executives are getting their hands into that one. First game's really good. Trust you have good taste. Yeah, well, I mean, I've thought about playing at least the first one at some point, so. I have to get through the remainder of the series, though, if I remember correctly, because since I've only played Zero, I have to get through Yakuza 1 through 6 in order to understand what the heck is going on, and because that's like Yakuza 7, isn't it? Basically, or something like that. So I probably have to play through the rest of the series to really understand what's going on. Maybe we'll get there eventually, but at the moment, it's kind of out of my wheelhouse. Eventually, though, it probably will be something that I can... yeah, no, I know what you meant. I know what you meant there. It's okay. Not a fan of games doing major genre shifts on their main lines. Leave it for the spin-offs. Yeah. Maybe that's what's off-putting. Maybe it's just I'm used to, like, the action format, and then... I don't know. Maybe it's just off-putting because it's not what I'm used to, which shouldn't really put me off too much because I should be more open to the idea of them making a shift, but I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck in my ways. Anyway, this is the area where you can save in between the Ancient's Maze and the Crystal Tower. What I was looking for in the Ancient's Maze is a palette swap for the regular behemoth that we saw in the Temple of Time, the King Behemoth, which is, again, a boss in the Ancient's Maze raid in Final Fantasy XIV. But here, instead of ecliptic meteoring your entire party to death because they don't know how to hide behind the rocks, here you can steal a Protect Ring from him if you have a job level 99 Thief. And I would like to steal 2 of those, actually, so that way everyone in my party has 50% elemental protection. So, since he's only a 1% encounter, it might take a little while to do that. Basically, I'll do that off-screen in between this episode and the finale, which will be on tomorrow's stream. But since I didn't find him just yet, I'm not really super concerned about it. Let's go into the Crystal Tower and get done with Eureka at the very least before we do anything else. Oh, baby, that music. Yeah, they went really hard on the rearranged version of the Crystal Tower in here. It's not a wonder the Final Fantasy XIV track sounds equally as epic, because they kind of had to, given what they've got going on back here. So, oh boy, not really. Started with Yakuza 4, then played 3, 5, 0, and then the remakes of 1 and 2. Well, fair enough. If it finished at least 0, you'd be fine playing Like a Dragon since it has a new protagonist, new party members. Yeah, that's true. That's worth thinking about, because it's not Kiryu, it's that other guy that I don't know the name of because I haven't played it yet. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Shooting Star! God, so tired of hearing this dungeon's music. You spent way, way, way too long in this tower. I don't know, maybe I haven't spent enough time in it, but I don't get tired of this music. I think it's just still really good, but that's just me, honestly. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do before we go into Eureka is we're going to raid the first floor of the tower. Now, these guys are these guys are special specifically for what they can do in battle. So, like, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of just barraging them all to death, which is usually my MO in here. No, not the Lamia Harp, the Loki Harp. There we go. I'm going to get rid of 2 of them, and then let the 3rd one hang out by himself. And I'll show you why this is important for something, because with this very specific setup that I have, well, actually, it's probably better if Angus is a white mage for this, but we'll talk about why in just a moment. So. Alright, go ahead and get rid of that guy. I probably didn't need to use a white musk, but might as well. They're handing them to me on silver platters, so. Ah, there we go. He did it right away for me. Thank you for the demonstration. So these blocks, which are these weird face whisker demon things here, they can summon enemies into battle, and the ones that they summon are, well, muck spelled backwards twice. They even tried to correct the, like, spelling on this in the Pixel Remaster by starting it with Q instead of K, but the thought process is the same. These summons have 9,600 HP, which is a lot, but if you have a strong physical attacker, you can probably just annihilate them like I'm going to do with Luneth right now. And if you annihilate them, each time you defeat one of them, they give 2,200 experience points. And these blocks will summon them over and over again. They aren't guaranteed to summon them at the end of every turn, but they do have a chance to summon them at the end of every turn. And with the Dream Harp, and with Angus just kind of hanging out and maybe helping out with booking this guy if Luneth can't quite get the job done, we can get infinite experience from this battle. Like I said, it's probably better if Angus is a white mage for this, because then he can just guard and I can let Luneth blast the thing with high-powered arrows, but yeah, you can get as much experience as you want from this battle, because you basically don't have to end it. You can just do exactly what I'm doing here. Maybe don't beat up the block while you're at it. That's why it might be better to have Angus be on white mage, because then he can just guard, but excuse me. Yeah, as long as you have the Dream Harp equipped, you get free healing for the whole party out of it, so even if the Muck there gets a turn, it basically uses level 3 spells, so like Thyraga, Blizzaga, Thundaga, that sort of stuff. But you can effectively just do this. So like I have everybody kind of commanding to do certain things. So if you have Angus on white mage, you can have him guard, which takes the place of study, and then you can just auto battle through this whole thing. You can basically just do this. Boop, 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 boop. Probably Refia. Oh, okay, she is going to sing. Good. And this is the fastest way I've found anyway in the game to gain experience, is just doing that over and over again. But I'm not going to take advantage of that. I'm just going to defeat the Bluck. So, instead of actually letting it summon ad nauseum. But you can get 2,200 experience for every one of those mucks that you beat. And if you have the Dream Harp, like I said, you have free healing, so you'll never run out of resources other than the ammunition. But if you have a strong physical attacker, you don't have to worry about even running out of ammunition either. So, yeah, just defeat enemies to your heart's content and rack up that XP. It's how I leveled up. As you can see, there you go. That was only a couple of them, and I got 10,000 experience. That was how I leveled up to get ready for the super boss, basically, is just coming in here and doing that. I set a timer for myself for 33 minutes, and if you do that for 33 minutes, you get around 255,000 experience points from auto-battling those guys to death. All you have to do is kind of pay attention to the game a little bit, because you may have to stop auto-battling to not kill the block if it doesn't summon, but it gets you quite a lot of experience points, so, yeah. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Welcome back. Why didn't you get a notification, YouTube? Oh, YouTube's on its trying to censor me thing again, trying to silence me. I've never been censored by YouTube. I don't know why I use that specific language, but there you go. But welcome back. We're in the Crystal Tower, the final dungeon of the game. Well, second to final dungeon of the game. There's an optional dungeon, Eureka, that we're actually going to go to first before we do this dungeon, but yeah, we're not going to finish this game till tomorrow. But welcome back. We're quite a ways into the game, as you can see. So, Like a Dragon has tower mode. After you finish the story, you went into the tower and babysat every single... Oh, went into this tower. Okay, I've got two of you mixed up there. Didn't finish the tower, you just remembered it. I should check in on that, because I don't really know what to expect from something like tower mode in a game like that. It's probably like Pit of 100 Trials or something like that. Went into this tower and babysat every single day, though. You know, honestly, that would definitely cause a little bit of, I've been in here for way too much time, you know? I could see it. Sorry you didn't show up before. Life has been the death of your the death of your dying lately. No, that's okay. That's okay, Chris. Life is more important, if I'm quite honest with you. You should make sure that you can live before you commit to this. You use Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all that stuff, so... But yeah, no, it's. I'm glad that you were able to take care of everything to the point where you can show up again. That's all. And I'm not trying to pry, but yeah, I'm glad that you can show up again. Is that Zangief? I hope he doesn't like suplex me or hit. Okay, well he just hit me with it's a sword rather than an iron pipe. But you know, could probably make a pretty good meme out of this by adding the iron pipe drop sound effect over this guy's physical attacks. But yeah, it's a palette swap of the Jin that we fought at the beginning of the game. And the enemies in here give pretty good experience. We'll level up quite a bit on our way through here. For what it's worth, though, the final boss is level 60, so... if you level up a little, and we're what, like 47 now? 46, not even 47. So, yeah, it might be worth it to level up a little bit. We got the Elven Bow from that chest. I don't remember if that's better than the Heuristics bow, though. I mean, we're already dealing massive damage. I don't think it's really necessary. It gives us 14 more attack, but if I remember correctly, it also doesn't give us the +5 strength bonus from the Heuristics bow, so let's just see. No, it doesn't give us the +5 strength, so quite honestly, I'm going to keep the Heuristics bow. I would say keep the Elven bow for a... for the super boss, because the super boss's agility is really high, but actually the job level 99 bow just gives you more agility anyway, so you don't even need to. Good point. Yeah, like I said, don't prioritize this over life. Life is more important. Always more important. So, yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna raid the first floor of the tower just so I can grab all these items real quick. And then once we've done that, we'll head to Eureka. We'll get Eureka done. And then we'll leave and grab all our job level 99 equipment, which might take a little bit because that'll take... we have to spawn the person that can give us that stuff, and that can take a little while. But I have a technique, so... Man, look at all these Chocobo's rats. They must really want me to cast Flare in the end game. That's what those do. But yeah, again, use these blocks liberally to gain yourself some extra experience points. I'm just going to barrage them to death, so kind of a waste, but yeah, definitely use them to your advantage if you need to level up. It kind of leads to a problem that I have with this game, though, because, like, the super boss... So, I have beaten the super boss in a practice run off-screen at this point. I had to level up to level 69 in order to do that, which is nice, but also not nice, because you can beat the final boss of this game pretty comfortably at level 52, which means you need to grind at 17 levels. Well, I probably didn't have to grind that many. I probably could have gotten away with beating the super boss at about level 66, but at that point I was so close to the funny number I just said forget it, I'm just going to keep going, but... there's just this gulf where you don't need to be a higher level to beat the final boss. If you are, you're kind of just trivializing it, but there's no other content to do other than grinding in the game, and I don't really appreciate that sort of a design choice, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, the way up the tower itself, if you're looking for the way to get further in the tower, is that way. There's actually a door there, but if I walk any further up, it'll ask me to unlock the door. Well, it won't ask me, it'll just do it in a cutscene. Oh, Doga's got a clone too? Oh, dear God, man. Didn't need this from... These kids are going to have PTSD by the time this is done, as if they didn't already have it from watching Doga turn inside out when we did his boss fight. Resident Evil shit going on here. Anyway, yeah, if I walked further north, I'd have to unlock the door, because there'd be a cutscene that would play that would have me unlock the door. So instead of doing that, we'll go to Eureka first, and then we'll unlock the door. But before we even do that, let's grab all the treasure first, down here. There's a Fuma garb for us. That's actually better than the black garb that I've been giving to Eric every time he switches over to Thief. However, for some godforsaken reason, the developers thought it would be really funny for Ranger to not be able to equip the Fuma garb. As you'll see in a moment, I'm going to try to go equip it, but yeah, you can't. Resident Evil, but you have a holy sword. Yeah, it'd probably be a little less scary, honestly, at that point, because I can just smite my enemies with it. But yeah, so there's the black garb, which is a direct downgrade to the Fuma garb. Drake, where's the Fuma garb? You were supposed to cut it out with the power saw. But yeah, Ranger can't equip the Fuma garb, despite the fact that pretty much every other light armored character in the game, including Thief, can equip it. And Thief is typically not a job you associate with DPS, although in this game they get pretty good DPS, but... Oh, and Medusa even gets a palette swap here? Great. But yeah, all these enemies have over 10,000 HP, which is obnoxious, and also one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that Luneth is as strong as he is, because then I can just plow through them without any big problem. So, excuse me. Just take a look at the enemies we've got here so I can tell you exactly what we're dealing with. This is Gomari, this palette swap of Medusa. Granted, we just killed it in like 2 hits with Provoke and Haste up, but it has 19,976 HP. The Blux have the lowest HP of anything in here. They have the same amount as Ironclaw, 6,720. Everything else has over 11,000 HP or more, with most enemies trending closer to 20,000 in the Crystal Tower, which, as I said before, it may seem like we're trivializing the difficulty with Ranger, and to be fair, we're kind of doing that in here too, but these enemies have way too much HP, and it predicates the need for a class like Luneth on Ranger, or a summoner with 2 melee DPSs that can inflict high amounts of damage. Like, it predicates the need for that just because of how much time it would take to deal with all these enemies if you didn't have all this arm strength. And access to rapid fire. So, if you didn't have access to rapid fire before this point, which I've beaten this tower without access to rapid fire before, I pity myself back then, and I pity all of you that have to do it now, because it was not particularly fun. What are you at now, Eric? 97? Good. Almost done with everybody now. He'll be at 99 by the time we're done in Eureka. And speaking of which... Well, that's fancy. I am going to guess, I was going to say the key will allow us to open this. It doesn't look like a door, but, you know, whatever. Maybe it'll, yeah, turn into a summoning circle. So yeah, just touch the door with the Eureka key in your inventory, and you can head to the Forbidden Land itself. Hold on, let me turn up the music here, too. Not quite as good as the Crystal Tower remix, but ominous, which makes sense for Eureka because this is a forbidden land after all. If anything, we're not supposed to be here. But it has another Chocobo's Wrath for me, and another Fuma Garb, so that's pretty nice. They want to make sure they give you at least 2 Fuma Garb, because in the original version of the game, you didn't get Sage and Ninja until you got through this dungeon. So, and they were also much better than they are. Well, maybe much better is a misnomer, but they were very good in the original version, so they were some of the best classes, if not the best classes in the game, so they wanted to make sure they gave you enough equipment to actually use them. You spent way too much time in here, too? Yeah, I can imagine, honestly. The thing about Eureka is that this is the only place, there's shops at the end of this place, and it's the only place in the entire game to purchase shuriken, so if you want to use a ninja, and you want to use them at their full power, you probably will have to spend some time running through this area multiple times to buy shuriken, because I think you only get like 2 or 3 shuriken from treasure chests out in the actual world, which is enough to beat the final boss if you only use them on the final boss, but yeah, I mean, it is if you have enough arm strength anyway. You probably want more than that if you're going to do the bonus content, though. You probably need about 15 to beat the super boss, so... I don't remember which way is the correct way here, but I guess we'll just try doors, and if something looks like the path forward, well, this isn't the path forward, we'll just stop. More white musk. More Chocobo's Wrath. We're probably not going to get a ton of really good stuff early on. It'll probably mostly be consumables, but we will get some better stuff in a little while. You know, at this point, I would hope that I wouldn't be getting back attacks because I've got enough agility, but I guess I'm too used to Final Fantasy II. No, they attack the tank anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Hauka! Fair enough. I can probably beat these guys without haste if I Dream Harp. Probably. Just gonna fast forward this real quick. We already know what's about to happen. Brrr, brrr, brrr. I was gonna say, oh wow, it didn't beat them, but we did. We just had to use all 4 of my attacks, that's all. Alright, let's go check the other side, because probably if I go further down, well, let me see. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. My spider senses are tingling, because there's a secret passage behind this cliff to grab a ribbon, which is a very good piece of gear, and because it's a very good piece of gear and you're in Eureka, the chest is trapped. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Oh, you kind of look like that shinobi guy that I fought a little while ago. Let's see if you can stand up to as much punishment, Mr. Ninja. Probably. I'm just going to use the Loki Harp anyway, because why the hell not? We have 6 White Musks now. Throw more of those at this guy. I don't remember if we have all of the White Musks at this point, but there's probably like 1 left or 2 in the Crystal Tower that I haven't gotten. There's 9 total in the game, so if you want to, you can hold on to them, but I don't really see the point. I'm going to hold on to the Chocobo's Rats because those will be more handy in the final dungeon, but yeah. Well, you're going to have to do a little better than that. That ninja sword is not quite cutting it. Might want to sharpen it next time. Bye! So the ribbon prevents all status effects and has pretty good physical and magical defense, especially compared to something like the Feathered Hat. I'm going to give it to Lunith because he desperately needs the actual defense, but it could be good on any of your mages as well. I wouldn't replace the Crystal Helm with it though, because the Aegis Shield has the same prevents all status effects thing on it. And the Crystal Helm has more physical defense, which is good for something like a tank, but yeah, I'm going to want to get a ribbon for... Well, I don't need a ribbon for Refia, surprisingly enough, but I do need a ribbon for Ingus in a little while, so I'll need 2 ribbons. Unfortunately, you only get 1 until you go to the very final dungeon of the game, and the thing about the final dungeon of the game is once you step inside, you can't leave until you beat the game, so we won't be getting a second ribbon until we go do that, unfortunately. Excuse me. Oh, there's another White Musk. I think this way is not the correct path, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yes, I was correct. There's another shuriken for you. Looks like the void down here, though. Or at the very least, the interdimensional rift. Might just be the remnants of the crystals underneath the Crystal Tower, though. It just gives me that impression, a la Final Fantasy V. Someone's not at max HP, so let's Dream Harp. See, this is what I was talking about before, though, where it's like, as you get more job levels for Bard, this Payon skill just becomes really nice because it's literally free healing with priority. So you don't even have to worry about having a traditional healer, although if I needed it, I could always stack a Cura with Payon, with Ingus casting Cura. That may actually need to happen in the final boss fight at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, you know. Until then, I'll just keep Payoning if I need it, and minuetting if I don't. I was expecting to use more of the other songs than Minuet, but Minuet is so good. Like, it's just really, really powerful, the extra effect, because it just increases my damage so much since I'm shooting 4 times at once, so. Well, here's Sleipnir. Oh, he does have 6 legs. Okay, I can see them. There's actually a second set of legs behind the first set there. It's kind of hard to see from here, but maybe when we go further, like closer to the ground, it'll be easier to see. Odin's Sleipnir didn't have 6 legs, though, if I remember. Yeah, it's a little tough to see from this angle, too, but they do have 6 legs by the looks of it. Typical. We gotta save the world. We need potions. Just walk out the door. It's 3 feet away. Yeah. Just make sure we're stocked on all of this stuff, so. What's the purpose of the extra legs? More stability. Probably faster. I don't know. Ask Norse mythology. I don't think it makes them deal any more damage than the other horse enemies, though. So, you know. Oh, there's another shuriken. Alright, cool. Well, we've gotten a couple in treasure chests before this, so that's 4 total that you can get. And I think there's at least 1 in the Crystal Tower, so that'd be 5 or 6. Get the legs! They never skip leg day, that's for sure, because they have 6 of them, so if they don't train 1 of them, or 2 of them... Ooh, that's not going to be good. Oh, you look familiar. Another palette swap of Hecaton Kier, huh? Asheron. I think if I remember correctly, this is level... Is this level 5? Eureka? Let's see, go back. This looks like level 4, actually. Yeah, this is not level 5, but after we go through the next screen transition, the fifth level of Eureka, quote-unquote, the 5th screen, there's only 2 enemies that you can encounter on that screen, which is this guy, Asheron, and then another enemy called Oceanus. They're the 2 rarest encounters in Eureka, so if you want to find them, it's actually best to find them on the 5th screen. Everything else can be encountered pretty commonly on all of the other screens. It's just these 2 that are not so easy to find. I got lucky with this one. It's only a 10% encounter rate, but... Go for the eyes, Chatika! I mean, Lunith did lean back to make sure those last arrows hit up there, so... Is that job level 99 for Eric there? Or is that 98? I wasn't paying attention. Let's see. If it's 98, then he'll get to 99 shortly. Yeah, it's 98, so... Alright, cool. He'll be 99 by the time we're done in here, which is exactly right, because, well, we don't need him to be 99 until we leave here. Huh. This looks interesting. Wonder what this is all about. Go for the eyes, Box Paws! I don't know what that's a reference for. The Chatika reference is Mass Effect, but I don't know what Box Paws is for, but... Ah! A Moonring Blade to add to my collection of throwing weapons. Interesting. Things just got very dark all of a sudden. What's that all about? Well, when they said Force of Darkness, they didn't mean the Moonring Blade, they meant this guy. Palette swap of Hein. Amon! I think he's the one that you actually fight in the Crystal Tower raid in 14. It's been a little while since I've done it, though, so I barely remember. I'm just gonna low-key harp. Honestly, I'm not really all that worried. I think I'll also, toss a White Musk at him. He can do the same thing that Hein could do, where he can barrier shift to change his elemental weakness, but as far as I'm aware, he never has a holy weakness, and also you can just use Chocobo's Wraths if you need to deal non-elemental damage to him. Interesting thing about Hein and Amon, though, is that most physical weapons they're resistant to, but if you hit them with bare hands, so like with a monk or black belt, well, I mean, okay, we just did 9,999 damage there, but like, if you hit them with bare hands, it actually deals more damage, like it deals regular damage, because unarmed attacks are considered a separate type of physical damage by comparison to, well, armed attacks, regular physical weapons, so... Alright, let's Dream Harp up, because we got zapped a little bit last turn, and then just keep tossing the musks out. The Mass Effect one is in itself a reference? Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't know what that one was a reference to. Oh, a reference to Baldur's Gate 2. You know what, actually, that makes a lot of sense now that I think about the lineage of the games. So, yeah. Oh, Amon, I knew him well. Alas, poor Yorick, he's about to die to more arrows than anybody should be taking to the face. But yeah, as you can see, that was 3 barrages, and I still didn't deal 9,999 damage, because he's resistant to those, even though I've dealt over 10,000 with the 4 hits anyway. But there you go. The Chatika Box Paws, at least you're pretty sure that's the name. It's been a while. Oh, to Chatika Box Paws, gotcha. Fair enough. But yeah, we get the Moonring Blade from beating Amon there. Like I said, it's another throwing weapon to add to your collection, so now you don't have to have the Chakram either, because you've got 2 throwing weapons. And personally, I think that these throwing weapons are better for ninjas, so Rising Sun and Moonring Blade are better for ninjas than the other, like, katanas that you get. Although, the ultimate katana that we'll be getting later on in Eureka gives these a run for their money because, well, it gives a lot of positive status, like, not statuses, but it gives you, like, +5 to all stats, +10 to agility. So that gives them a run for their money, but you can equip these and deal maximum damage even from the back row on a ninja. And if you've been, you know, using a ranger before you switch him over to a ninja, for example, with Lunith, if I switched him over to a ninja now, he'd be able to stay in the back row, he'd be able to equip better armor, and on top of that, he'd be dealing massive damage with 180 base attack from the 2 weapons, which is more than he'd get even on his ultimate bow and arrow setup that he'll be getting soon enough. So, yeah. Ninja's pretty good, but, I'm gonna stick with Ranger. Everybody uses Ninja. Yeah, basically Matador from SMT. Yeah, that's not really wrong, honestly. Oh, speaking of which, is this the ultimate sword? Yeah, it is. The ultimate katana. The mass immune. I thought the Murasame was the one that was possessed by a demon. Well, apparently this one is as well. It's possessed by, okay, maybe not a demon, but a kunoichi? Yeah, that's what she is. I think literally a kunoichi, like in real life, a female ninja, but actually literally named kunoichi, so there you go. Same thing as we've always been doing, though. Shoot them with a million gazillion arrows and then, you know, blast from there with the white musk if needed. I'm just gonna heavy machine gun this real quick. Okay, well, she survived. Not for long, though. Oh, she has access to Aeroga. Incidentally, the Protect Ring helps with that, too. That would have dealt, like, 1,000 damage to Eric if he didn't have that, so that's nice. Bye! For those not in the know, by the way, because some people I don't think have been here for streams previous to this, at least one person anyway, the 9,999 is the maximum amount of damage that we can see, but we can inflict more than 9,999 damage. It just doesn't show anything more than that. Like, that enemy probably had 30-something, 29,000. She had 29,000 HP. And we defeated her with, apparently, 2 9,999s, which doesn't make any sense, but that's because we actually dealt more than 9,999 damage in both of those hits. So, anyway, the mass immune is really good. Let's go see it. It's down here. There it is. 132 attack, effective against dividing enemies just like every other katana, but as I said before, it gives +5 to all stats, except agility, which it gives +10 to. So if you are going to use a ninja and you want to kind of make a hybrid build, which you can do if you're planning on throwing stuff and, you know, you've already got a lot of arm strength, you could just equip the ninja with the Moonring Blade and then the mass immune. And that wouldn't quite work as well as the Moonring Blade and Rising Sun, but it would, you know, basically give them a lot of extra stats to work with and basically guarantee that they always go first in battle unless somebody has increased priority. So that being said, that whole, like, Moonring Blade Mass Immune combo, keep that in mind because it will come back in the next Final Fantasy game I'm planning on playing for the stream. So here's an Omni Rod that's equipable for Black Mages and Summoners, and I think it gives, like, +10 Intellect or something like that, or maybe it's +20. Something ridiculous like that, but there's a Phoenix down. And then the Oceanus is also available on the screen as a random encounter, so I'm just going to see if I can find them real quick. Maybe, maybe not. Don't know. Basically, I can afford to waste time today because I'm not planning on beating the game until tomorrow's stream. But oh, there's Acheron. I'll look for like one more battle, and then after that we'll just go. How are you doing on arrows anyway, Lilith? Oh, you got 22 sleep arrows left. Okay, so you're fine for now. We'll have to replace those with one of the other arrows soon enough, though. And you know, what's funny is I didn't even use the Yoichi arrows in either of those 2 boss fights, and yet I still managed to massacre them very quickly. So. Colleges hate them. Get +10 int in seconds. Yeah, it does sound like a bad mobile ad, doesn't it? One of those weird pop-ups in those 90s web browsers. One or the other, or both. Alright, well anyway, now you know what, I'll do what I said. I'll find one more battle and see if it's Oceanus. I do like the design on Oceanus. I think he looks like a silly little goober. Well, he's not little, but he is a silly goober. There he is! Look at that stupid little face! I remember the eyes being bigger, but he's kind of goofy looking. I like him. See, there you go again. I'm going to suck your blood! I'm going to boop your snoot now. You cannot stop me. Okay, well, that's not really the snoot, Lilith. You might want to aim a little lower. Although then we'd be going for the eyes again, so... You doodle a guy who looks like this sometimes? Yeah, he has that look of kind of like one of those things that you just doodle in a book when you're like a notebook when you're listening to somebody in class and you're trying to pay attention, but you are having difficulty because it's very boring. Not saying that's what you do, Chris, but I've seen people do that. Hell, I've seen people do that while I've been mentoring them, which is not flattering, but, you know, you do what you have to pay attention and stay awake. So, I'm not judging. Oh, this looks like a fancy sword. It's not stuck in the stone, though, which is a little bit different from its usual iteration. I guess that kind of gives away what it is, right? Usually as an extremely long corgi body with scales and a little bowler hat. That's awesome. I can picture it. Well, I'm still KOing these guys in 2 arrows, even though I think it took 4 originally. Maybe from the level or something I got some extra strength. I don't know. Alright, well, let's see what you're supposed to be. Excalibur, the legendary sword. So this is the ultimate knight sword, so if you have a knight still, might be worth putting this one on him. Well, I guess we'll find out. Sir, you have an axe. I don't think you're going to be able to equip the legendary holy sword. This is, I don't know if hang on, let's see there. General, so that's this guy. Actually, Lunith, why don't you equip, Yeah, why not? Let's equip the Yoichi arrows. I know that that's just going to be overkill probably at this point, but might as well. I do have the Loki Harp still on, right? Let's see. Yeah. I probably want Madura at some point, but yeah, it's fine. Currently, it's actually an SCP-2. Forget the number, but it's the one where the Corgi is also a train system for the Fae. That sounds like an SCP, yeah. Oh boy. Did Provoke miss? I wasn't paying attention. I guess it doesn't matter too much because he's, yeah, gonna be dead right now, but... That's funny because that's probably one of the last times we'll see Provoke miss in the entire playthrough. Once you get to job level 99, Provoke has a 100% accuracy rate, which is, hey, there you go. Which is why getting Eric to job level 99 is important, even though he's not going to equip the job level 99 item. So, incidentally, a lot of the weapons that I'm not going to be equipping here, like Excalibur, for example, they will show up in the next Final Fantasy game I'm planning on playing. So, like, if you're disappointed that we're not really going to see the Moonring Blade or the Mass Immune or the Excalibur, not to worry, they will show up, just not in this game. In the next one. Claws as well will show up in the next one. Spears. So, and which one is that? I will let you guess. It's another one on the PSP, though, so I guess it's not really a big guess. So, yes, Provoke level 99. That's the spell we're casting. Speaking of spells, this summoning circle will take you to the last floor of Eureka. I don't want to go there just yet, though, because there's more treasure to be found. I'll get that one last, actually, because that's the one I actually care about in here. This one, I mean, I guess I could care about this one, too, because it is a golden sword. Ragnarok, the Demon Blade. Wonder if Goldor's palette swap's going to be in here. Nope. Some random fisticuffs man. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Guardian. Oh, that makes sense. Excuse me. Or maybe it doesn't make sense, I don't know. Either way, he's guarding the Ragnarok. This is the most powerful sword outside of... well, there's one more sword that's actually more powerful than Excalibur and Ragnarok, but that warriors can equip specifically. But, we won't be getting access to that one from inside of Eureka. We have to go outside of Eureka to find that one. So it's a funny goblin, man. Yeah, he kind of looks like if the Green Goblin put on armor, doesn't he? And now he's dead. Bye. Arm strength OP. I would say please nerf, but then you'd have to nerf the superboss too, because arm strength is not OP in that one. So the reason, by the way, why arm strength is so OP is because the enemies in this game, for the most part, have pretty middling defense values. I think more than 50 defense is uncommon in this game. However, the superboss has like 99 defense, so we don't quite punch through, and because of the fact that our attacks are basically 4 smaller regular physical attacks, it's harder to punch through armor in the super boss fight because he's just that like strong on the defense compared to every other enemy in the game. So In case anyone's wondering why we just massacre everything so quickly. And then we'll get to the super boss fight, and it's like, why am I not inflicting max damage with every single hit? That's why. So. Never lose an arm wrestling match, or any match for that matter. Yeah, might lose the battle of intellect, but not anything to do with the physicality. Lunith is basically a bodybuilder at this point, from all the arm strength he's got. Anyway, this is the Elder Staff. It looks really goofy, and I have no idea what the weird spikes coming off of it are for, but out of all of the weapons here in Eureka, it's probably the only one that I'm actually going to equip. And that's fair, because it also has the most difficult boss fight guarding it. So, that is a design. It sure is, oh boy. Scylla! You've really let yourself go since Final Fantasy Legend 3, haven't you? Let me think. Nah, I'm just gonna leave the Loki Harp on. Actually, I need to re-equip the Yoichi arrows. Hang on. There we go. Now we should be fine. But she's got like 35,000 HP or something like that, so nothing to sneeze at. We probably won't be able to KO her in one round unless this White Musk does a lot of damage, but... Literally all the other stats when arm strength walks in, fear. Yeah. I only fear, what's the phrase? I don't fear anything, but that thing? Something like that. That thing, it scares me. Yeah, I can see where all of Sleipnir's legs, Odin's Sleipnir anyway, where all of its legs went, because holy man, this lady's got like 10 legs. How many dog heads is that? 6 dog heads? Okay, well, she's dead now. Bye. You know a few furries that would. I'm just concerned at that point. Like, what? Like, what do you even look at? If that's what you would do. Oh, God. I feel like we've had this conversation before back when we played Pokemon, but, like, I don't know. Like I said, I try not to judge. I feel like sometimes I judge harshly, but I try not to judge if possible. Do whatever you want to do. Anyway, that's all of the bosses and all of the super weapons that Doga wanted to provide to us. Incidentally, only one of them will actually come in handy, and it won't even come in handy till after the final boss fight, but there you go. This is the final area of Eureka. Got a couple of chests in it. I think they're both elixirs. No, there's 2 elixirs and 2 shurikens, so that puts us at what, like 4 shuriken in here and 2 in the main game, so 6 so far. Have you ever seen the TF2 8 Legs skit? That. I don't think I've seen that one, actually. I might have to go look that one up after this, actually. There's also some sages standing guard here in Eureka, and they are the ones that sell the level 8 black and white magic. I'll buy it. I'm never going to use it, but I'll buy it. Meteor, I should say, is actually the most interesting out of all of them. So Flare, I believe, can only be cast on a single enemy. It's really powerful, but it can only be cast on a single enemy. And the Chocobo's Wraths that we have in our inventory will cast Flare when you use it as an item. But Meteor's interesting. I might have mentioned this before, but it can only ever target all enemies. So it's an AoE attack, which is pretty good for Black Mage, because most of the other Black Mage AoE attacks, I think, suffer from split damage, or is that just Final Fantasy V? I forget. Either way, Meteor has an interesting effect in this game, and I have no actual, like, direct coded data to say that this is true, but anecdotal experience with Meteor in this game says that it can crit like a physical attack can crit, so it has a small random chance to crit and deal more damage. Unfortunately, that will come into play in the super boss fight, and it will not come into play because I'm the one using Meteor. It'll be because the super boss is using Meteor on me and critting me. But it's pretty cool to use, and this is the first time in the series that it's actually a spell available to the player. It was available to enemies in Final Fantasy II as Starfall, but only the Emperor and a few super bosses, well, 1 super boss, no, 2, can use it in that one, so. Then there's Tornado, which is the upgraded version of Aeroga, Arise, and Holy for white mages, so some good stuff there. Again, nothing I'll use, but there you go. You think I'm actually referring to the Little Mermaid joke? Oh, maybe. Or unless you're talking about Chris there. Is that the Futurama reference, though? Because I remember there was a Futurama reference where Fry fell in love with a mermaid, And I think he said something like, what do I even look at, you know, or something like that. And it's like, that was what, I think if I'm remembering the episode correctly, what mortified him is he didn't know which parts would be fish parts and which parts would be lady parts. And he recognized that if the lady parts are on top, well, there's only one place the fish parts can be at that point. That might be what I'm remembering, so. But yeah, we'll teach all the black magic spells to Refia, even though she'll never use them. We'll teach all these to Angus. Again, he'll never use them. He will be using the level 1 through, well, really, Kiraga and Kiraja only in the super boss fight. But we'll actually have a use for some of his high-level white magic. So look forward to that. Trolling with Starfall is one of your favorite parts of playing as the Emperor. Yeah, that's right, because you can get access to Starfall in Dissidia if you play as the Emperor, right? God, I haven't talked about Dissidia in forever. So, I feel like you remember this. Is that the one dude that crossed over with Mario RPG? That's Culex, if I'm remembering correctly. That's not the super boss in this game, though. He's, I think, originally, at least because of his boss music, Culex is believed to be from the Final Fantasy IV dimension, because he has the same boss battle theme as Final Fantasy IV, but I could be wrong about that. The super boss in this version of the game is an enemy that we actually saw in Final Fantasy II, and it was not a super boss at that time, but it is in this game, and it's tough, so. We'll see it soon enough, though, on Thursday's stream, so. Oh, and if you didn't get Odin, Leviathan, and Bahamut from actually getting them in the overworld, I don't remember if they're available here, but you can buy them here. So, yeah, there you go. Just say that Little Mermaid 8 Legs is a very specific Google search. Yeah, it probably puts you on a bit of a list, doesn't it? Oh, boy. I mean, Little Mermaid 8 Legs is basically just Ursula, isn't it? But that would also put you on a list. So, see, but you do remember Meteor from him. Yeah, he had a Meteor spell in that game, so. And we'll see it eventually, because I'm planning on playing Mario RPG as well. But before I play that, we got to go through another secret passage to one more shop that's over here, and I think one more treasure chest as well. Nope, but there is another shop over here. And this guy sells shuriken, so you can purchase them now, but they're 65,500 gil per shuriken. That's every one shuriken costs that much. Now, we can buy 10, and we get a minor discount once we buy 4 and above, but, like, I don't plan on using Ninja at all, so we won't do that. You can get more crystal equipment here, though, so if you want 2 crystal shields, or if you have multiple jobs that can equip crystal equipment, this is the best place to get it. It's a little on the very expensive side, but hey, if you've got, like, a bunch of, like, melee classes, this is probably the best place to get this stuff. The one thing I do care about here, though, is the Apollo harp. So let's grab that, because that's the final harp for Refia, and it is absolutely vital for fighting the super boss because of the buff that it gives. It basically gives you a buff that it's kind of similar to Protect, but not quite. Protect increases your defense and magic defense in this game. The Apollo harp reduces the damage by a fixed percentage. At this point, I believe the reduction is 29%, and Protect from Madura, from the Madura harp, increases your defense and magic defense by 29%. So you're effectively going up 29% defense, magic defense, and down 29% damage if you do Madura Apollo in alternating order like that. And like I said, absolutely vital to the super boss fight, so that's why I want to grab one. Is it worth grabbing a second crystal shield? No, because the super boss, I need 2 crystal shields for the super boss, but we're going to get 1 in the rest of the crystal tower anyway, so I'm not really super concerned about it. So yeah, this is where you get shuriken if you want them, but I don't need them, so I'll hold on to them and I'll sell them off later. But now that we're completely done with Eureka, well, the first thing I want to do is teleport out, because there's no easy way to teleport out of here. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me show you this real quick. Hang on. Crazy 8's Capchinik. No links, sorry. Oh, okay, yeah, probably YouTube is going to block the links if we tried to, but that's okay. That's worth, I'll keep that in mind. Also needing to ditch soon and take a shower. That's okay, Chris. We're probably not going to do anything super vital for the remainder of the stream. This is a life spring, and then this one I think is an HPMP spring. Yeah, we're not going to fight any more bosses for the rest of the stream, basically. I'm going to leave and kind of go grab my job level 99 equipment, and then we're going to raid the treasures in the Crystal Tower, but we're not going to finish it, so you won't be missing much. The real action happens tomorrow. Starfall and the Emperor being an unescapable attack like Assist Aerith's Holy means it really messes with people. I could see that being a problematic thing then for people, yeah, if it's completely inescapable. That's funny. But yeah, so I guess you could wander around Eureka since there's an HP healing spring there and a life spring. You can wander around Eureka and just fight enemies for Gil if you want to buy Shuriken, but there's easier ways to get Gil, like fighting the muck-mucks outside. Either way, I'm teleporting out. We got everything we needed. However, the other thing that we did is we actually opened the path to Eureka, and opening the path to Eureka is important because that allows me to now leave by going back out through the Ancient's Maze and go and find the Legendary Smith again. She was not available anywhere in the world until you completed, well, not completed, but opened the door to Eureka. Once you've done that, she'll respawn in the world in Falgabard. So now we can go back to Falgabard and we can give her the Orichalcum that she wants. But more importantly than that, we'll get an item from doing that, and then I can restock on Yoichi arrows. But more importantly than that, we're also going to get access to the other level 99 equipment that you can get from, well, mastering jobs. So that's what we're going to go do. But yeah, as you can see, Thief can equip the Fuma Garb. Apparently not Ranger, though. Fair enough. Oh, it's the aerial video? Yeah, it's the same joke. Okay, fair enough. Gotcha. So I'll save here. I'm going to keep going, obviously, but I'll save here just in case. And I'm switching to Thief again because we may, in fact, get lucky and run into the King Behemoth while wandering through this room. I'm going to do like a full lap and a half around the room just to be sure, but I'd rather do that and be able to try to steal the Protect Ring from him than not have it and then like be kicking myself because I will find him. It's like that watched pot never boils thing, you know what I mean? So it's the same principle. 7 vaginas? Grimsby? Oh boy. That's a heck of a statement that someone could clip out of context, especially since I said it without saying anything before it. And I left a little pause after it, but I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know if I have the kind of audience that would clip me out of context just yet. I would need a little bit more, I'd need a few more people here, I think, to be getting clipped out of context for random things for people to say. Now we got another level. That's cool. And Ingus continues to be further behind. Oh, I didn't talk about that. So, the blocks that summon the Muck-Mucks back in the Crystal Tower, right? So, while you're grinding for experience points with them, if you decide to grind experience points, let's say you have like somebody in your party like Ingus who has lower HP than the rest of the party and you want them to get a little bit closer to the rest of the party in HP. What you can do is you can switch jobs over to Black Belt because they have the highest vitality out of any job in the game, and you can just let him guard while Lunith does the hard work, because literally the only characters in that fight that you need to stay in the same class are Lunith so that he can kill the Muck-Mucks, and Refia as Bard so she can sing with the Dream Harp over and over again to give you the free healing. Eric and Ingus in this case, or whoever's not your Ranger and your Bard, can be whatever class they want to be. So the way that I did it when I did the grinding for the Superboss off-screen is I switched Eric and Ingus over to Black Belts. I let Ingus level up with Black Belt equipped so that way he could get his HP closer to the rest of the party again. And I just left Eric in Black Belt until I was done grinding so that he could get as much HP as humanly possible because he's the tank. So that way he has the most survivability, obviously. So that was the process that I went through when I did that. And it worked out pretty well. Everybody ended up with about 4,500 HP, except for Eric, who ended up with closer to 5,000, which was pretty nice. No talk. Vegania. That's what I said. Vegania. Where do you place the emphasis? Anyway. I have tried looking for the King Behemoth. He is not being cooperative, so I will just leave and rest on my laurels for a little bit. I will re-equip Viking, though, because you can only find the King Behemoth on this screen, so there you go. I don't have to worry about it if I leave this screen, you know. Alright, one more encounter. What is it? Unei's clone again! Good lord. Put some clothes on, ma'am. How do you stand to walk around in public like that? You look like a tramp. Okay, do that, and then do that. Sorry. Sometimes the auto sort on my harps just gets a little weird, so. Vegetarians. There's multiple different kinds. I'm a nutrition major in school, so like I know all of that stuff. There's, if you're lacto-vegetarian, you omit. Wait, hang on, let me back up. Do you omit milk or do you allow milk? So full vegan is no animal products whatsoever, which includes no honey. Yeah, it would be lacto-vegetarian would allow milk. Ovo-vegetarian would allow eggs. Lacto-ovo allows milk and eggs. Pisco allows... Is it Pisco or Pesco? I think it's Pisco. Pisco-vegetarian allows fish. So there's a bunch of different variety there. Unei! Not typing something this dumb again for at least a week. That's okay. I say something just... not judging, but I say something as dumb as that at least once a week, so you're fine. Unless that's a D, hang on. I don't think I zoomed in enough on the chat there. Or maybe it's just my eyes going buggy. I don't know. I literally sat here all day on my smartphone, so it's probably my eyes going buggy. Well, I wouldn't say all day on my smartphone. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern right now because I'm in between my summer rotation at school and my actual like student stuff that I do, like, you know, regular semester work as a student. So because I'm in a holding pattern, I'm not doing anything with my days. So I quite literally sit here all day and this is like, I have a 2-week span where I can do this. I just take a nap whenever I want. And I'm sorry to anybody for whom that's not really cool because you've got a job and all of that stuff. I feel your pain. I've worked the 9 to 5 as well. I will work the 9 to 5 when I leave this place, when I leave school again. But at this moment in time, I'm trying to liberally take advantage of the fact that I can sleep whenever I want because I will not get the chance to do that when I go back to classes, and I will not get the chance to do that when I go out into the workforce again outside of school. So I'm trying to take liberal advantage now. I took 2 naps today is what I'm trying to say, basically. After sleeping for 6 hours, I took 2 naps. So I probably shouldn't be yawning, but I'm still yawning. Well, I guess I'll provoke, why not? Just gonna eat food, it's a simple and pure joy, and you do not wish to complicate it. Honestly, fair. For some people, it's like... They have a specific reason because they're allergic to certain things, or they have a religious tradition that they do it. But I mean, vegetarians, for the most part, I think vegetarians are trying to do it just to either be healthier or to make a statement about certain things, like they don't accept in the way that meats are cultivated. So you know, it's just another way of eating, really. The extra fiber is pretty good for you, although you got to be careful because. The trouble with any kind of veganism is that you're missing out on certain key ingredients, or you're short on certain key ingredients that are usually more available in meats, but are not usually as available in vegetables and fruits. Zinc is a big one. Calcium is a big one. Vitamin D, if you're omitting milk, calcium and vitamin D is a big problem. If you're omitting meats, vitamin B12 is a problem. Iron is a problem, although you can get iron from vegetables, but it's non-heme, and the body doesn't absorb that quite as well as heme iron, which is found in all animal products. So, except eggs. I don't think eggs have heme iron. I don't even think they have any iron now that I think about it, but I could be misremembering that for a different ingredient. So. Not me learning actual pronunciation notation to describe stupid ways of referring to people's privates. That's like learning pig Latin back in middle school to try to say something and get away with it so the teacher wouldn't get you in trouble. I'm just going to fast forward through this. We've seen this all already. You can get iron from cooking iron, actually. Why didn't I think of that? That's why iron deficiency didn't used to be a problem, though, because way back in the day, like when our parents and well, it was really probably more our grandparents at this point at the latest. But when our grandparents would cook with things, they'd use cast iron pots, right? And the thing about a cast iron pot is that when you cook with it, some of the iron flakes rub off into your food. And so you get trace amounts of iron from the cast iron pot. So iron deficiency used to be actually a lot less common because everybody cooked with cast iron, so it just wasn't a problem. But nowadays, people don't cook with cast iron quite as much. And it's become a problem again, especially since people have decided also that they want to omit more meats in their diets, because vegetarianism was always a thing that... It was kind of always a thing that existed, because meat was either really expensive or people just didn't want to eat it quite as much. Oh, you've got 5 of those left. Okay, good. But it's become, I think, more prevalent now than it used to be. So, and again, iron deficiency is just kind of part of any kind of veganism, because, like, in order to get the equivalent amount of heme iron out of meats, for every, like, 1 ounce of meat, you need to eat, like... what was the comparison again? It's like 6 ounces of spinach per 1 ounce of meat in order to get the same amount of iron, because it's non-heme, so again, the body doesn't absorb it quite as well in spinach. So it's something ridiculous like that. I don't remember exactly how much the ratio is, but it's a really, like, not favorable ratio for vegetables. So I don't know. I couldn't give up meat even if I wanted to. I just feel like I'd be missing something. I'd never feel full. Even if I eat more fiber now than I used to, because I'm, into this stuff now, but even if I ate more fiber, it probably would fill me up for a little while, but it would I would never get the same sense of fullness, I don't think, as I do when I eat actual meats. It's just such a nice glob of muscle and fat. It satisfies my craving so well. Sorry. Ironically, a lot of your personal recipes are vegetarian. Something you're proud of is a cabbage Manchurian and mushroom gravy. That sounds really good, actually. I should look up a recipe for that and give it a shot. I love cooking with mushrooms, so I'm like, anything with mushrooms I'm like on board for. Humans always ate meat, and that's how we survived for millions of years until agriculture became a thing. Right, exactly. So, hunter-gatherer type of a deal. It wasn't just the meat, though. Obviously, the gatherer part of that was something, too. So we ate meat, and we gathered berries and other types of grasses and that sort of stuff, and we would eat those. So, I need to restock sleep arrows, so... I mean, I guess I don't need to, but I'm gonna anyway. Everything else I've got, except for the Yoichi arrows, which I'll go get now. Then people got shitty teeth because the food is too soft and smaller jaws. To be fair, we used to also need our wisdom teeth, but we've evolved the need to not have to use them because our molars don't fall out anymore, so... Small victories. Smoothies are human hubris. I don't think I've ever seen smoothies talked about like that. That's interesting. Tribes who still hunt for meat are healthier overall. It's not rocket science. I don't know if I'd say they're healthier overall. I would say it's that they don't get as much saturated fat intake as we do. Like, the saturated fat and the salt is what kills a lot of us in this society. They still die younger than we do, though, because usually... It has nothing to do with the meat in that case, though. It has to do with the fact that they just don't have the same health outcomes as we do. We have better health outcomes because we have better medicine than a lot of, like, tribal places. So, yeah, like, they'll usually still have a life expectancy lower than we do, but we end up dying of chronic diseases that typically come from our diet, like obesity and diabetes and all of that as a trade-off for our higher-end medicine. I don't know if the cost is worth it. You'd have to ask somebody else who's a little further along than I am, but we'll see. I hope that I don't end up with any one of those chronic diseases, but, I mean, I'm trying my best, but you never know, right? That's what we traded for video games, I guess. Globule is one of your favorite words. Globule is just so fun to say, honestly. Video games the only thing keeping you in modern civilization, and maybe food like ice cream and cola. Maybe some other media as well. Yeah, honestly, like, I think I'd have a hard time, like, completely reverting to an era with no online presence or no video games or anything like that. I did go hiking out in the wilderness for, like, a full week earlier this summer, but it's not quite the same as, like, unplugging, you know what I mean? Like, I still had access to a GPS while I was out there, which required a satellite connection, whereas, like, fully unplugging, I'd need to use the position of the sun and a bunch of other stuff, like I need to mark my trails and everything like that. It's a lot more work. I mean, I'd be focused on it because it'd be the only thing that I'd be doing, but, like, I'd still have... Oh, no, I still need this. I'm sorry. I need to go back to Falgabard. What am I doing? Yeah, I'd still have a little bit of work to do in order to do that if I was to fully unplug, but I think it would be difficult, honestly. Like, fully reverting to a society where I don't have access to that stuff. That being said, like, when I was out in the wilderness, there was a sense of, like, once you get over the sense of dread from how quiet everything is, there's this sense of calm that you don't get in the city. That I really, honestly, I can see why people go out and just wander in the wilderness now, because, like, it's hard to describe the peace that you feel when you're out there, you know. But it's very peaceful. Again, once you get over the sense of dread from, oh my God, there's nobody out here, and it's so much quieter. There's just no noise pollution whatsoever, unless you're out there when it's nighttime and the crickets and everything are chirping. But that's not really noise pollution. That's like catharsis for the soul. Dr. Stone was right. Cola is a gift from the gods. It's the gift that gives us tooth rot, but it's the gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, here's the legendary smith. She wasn't here before, but now that we've opened the way to Eureka, we can come back to Falgabard and we can give her the orichalcum, so. No problem. Go for it. Let's see what you can make with it. You want to make your own, like in Dr. Stone? You procrastinated on trying it, though. I'll make your own cola. Yeah, that would be fun. I definitely never considered giving that a try, but it'd probably be pretty cool. I think I have relatives who have, like, tried making moonshine at one point or another, but I don't remember. Well, let's see what your best work is, then. I'll be the judge of that. It is her best work, because it's the Ultima weapon, the most powerful sword and probably one of the most powerful weapons, period, in the entire game. Only equipable by certain classes, but hey, still pretty good. Okay, sounds like a plan. Excuse me. So now, in her typical fashion, because this was a game originally made in 2006 and not, well, this version of the game was originally made in 2006. In order to help sell strategy guides, the legendary smith will now travel to one of, I think it's 8 or 9 different random places in the world, and you need to know either from the internet or from a strategy guide where she'll be in order to collect up the level 99 rewards for, well, job level 99 rewards for your jobs. That being said, there are 2 places that are relatively close to each other that are over back on the floating continent, so let's go back over there, and we will just go back and forth between those 2 places until she spawns, and then we'll just, you know, grab what we need from her there. You did the other day. Be careful making the syrup or it's a mess. Oh, yeah, I could see that being a problem, yeah, because I imagine the syrup could get all over the place if you're not careful. So, all right, so now what you want to do with this is I'm going to take the Nautilus because it's faster, so it'll be quicker to go in between the 2 places. And let's head back to the floating continent now. I want to get back to the floating continent from here. Just go down to Cape Twinhorn, go past the left horn, and then go south from there, and you should be able to see the floating continent without too much trouble from here. I know a lot of directions in this game relative to Saronia, because it's usually where I park my airships near the end of the game, so. Now, for the 2 places that she can spawn, I think there's a couple other places on the world map that she can spawn, on the floating continent specifically, but the 2 places that I know about that she can spawn are here at the Healing Copse near Tozus, for one of them. She'll spawn like right around here. So if you don't see her as soon as you spawn in, she's not here, so leave. And then grab the Nautilus, go a little east, a little northeast, park here, and then go into Gasal. And in Gasal, she is in the Chocobo stables, which, if I remember correctly, are across this bridge and in this building. She'll spawn right here. Yeah, if I remember correctly, like right here. So if you don't see her as soon as you spawn into the door, you can just leave. She's not here either. But yeah, so she will spawn randomly in either of these 2 locations, and then in, like, there's about 7 other locations where she can spawn all over the world map, including, I think, back in Saronia, but I don't think she's back in northwest Saronia. I think she's in one of the other Saronias. So It's not even like a place where you've seen her before, if I remember correctly, which is a big problem. And again, probably one of the reasons why they did that was because this was 2006 and they were really trying to sell strategy guides for this game, because there was like official strategy guides for the games and stuff. But either way, so this is my life for the next 5 or 10 minutes, because what I want to do is I want to grab the rewards that she can give you for having a job level 99 Ranger, Scholar, and Bard. We'll probably also get the one for Viking, but like I said, Eric has got his ultimate equipment right now with the Crystal Shield, Aegis Shield, Crystal Helm, Crystal Mail, Protect Ring combo. So I'm not super concerned about him getting... It's like another hammer with really high vitality on it, but like, I don't care. I've got I've got 2 shields. That's all he needs, so... But yeah, we could get... There's, for the other classes that we've used in the game, the other jobs we've used, for Warrior, you get something called the Gigantic Axe, which gives plus 20 strength. And I guess I should talk about the ultimate weapon while I'm at it, too. It's a sword that gives plus 15 to all stats. So if you have a Warrior equip the Gigantic Axe and the ultimate weapon, so you dual wield the 2 of them, you have plus 15 to all stats and plus 35 to strength. And you still have the advanced command to deal massive amounts of damage. You inflict 240% of your normal physical attack and damage when you use advance at job level 99. With 2 weapons that have like 150 attack each, so you have like 300 something attack with plus 35 strength. You will inflict a lot of damage with that. It would probably be comparable to the amount of damage we would inflict with Barrage, with the best bow and the best arrows, which we have the best arrows, Yoichi arrows, but the best bow is still eluding us until we find the legendary smith. So, there she is. So we can get one of them right now. She'll always pick the job from the first, like the earliest set of crystals. So if you had a white mage in the party and then the rest of the party, like let's say Ingus was on white mage and it's job level 99, she would pick that first, and then she'd be like, oh, you have a master white mage. But in this case, Luneth is on ranger, and it's the job from the fire crystal that's the highest in the order. So she'll pick that first. She'll give you the ranger card, and on top of that, she'll give you the Artemis bow, the most powerful bow in the game. Unfortunately, you can't get all of the items from her at the same time. She'll only ever give you one, and then she'll leave again, which means you have to find her at the most 23 separate times in order to get all of the job level 99 equipment for all 23 jobs in the game. So 15 to everything, yeah, it's really strong. And I mean, you imagine the fact that Protect Rings give plus 2 to everything, and that's the ultimate arm equipment in the game for every class. That's plus 17 to everything and plus 37 to strength. Like, you'd probably cap your strength at 99 before you get to whatchamacallit, before you even get close to level 99, because Warrior has like 83 strength, I think, maximum, so they'd probably be at about 60 at like level 65 or 67 or something. I don't know exactly. Now that attention has been drawn to it, you're fairly sure the Nautilus is going close to or above Mach 1. Probably. It's really fast, so it's the fastest airship in the world. So, alright, so currently with the Heuristics bow, Luneth has 43 strength, 47 agility, right? So now let's equip the Artemis bow and see how that goes from there. First of all, it's another massive increase to our attack stat. It's up to 142 from 115 now with 122 attack versus 95. But more importantly than that, well, I mean, that's already really good. I mean, if I equip the Yoichi arrows now, which I didn't buy from Falgabar, but that's okay, I'll go do that after this. We got 162 attack. So most everything will fall over after this without too much trouble. But he had 43, 47. Now he has 48, 57. So it gives plus 10 strength and plus 10 agility, if I'm remembering correctly, which is a very nice set of bonus stats for Ranger. It's really the main stats that Ranger needs because it's not meant to be a defensive class in any way, so... Like, that is really fast, yes. The Nautilus is a very quick airship. It takes a little getting used to pilot it around, so... Yeah, ew, that RNG, I know. I don't like it either, but that's how it works. And you have to keep zoning back and forth to these, like, places where she's been. Like, you can't just zone in and out of the healing copse, because she won't ever... If you don't see her the first time, she won't spawn there. You have to go to another location where she can spawn in order to, like... force her spawn to change, if that makes sense. So, like, I can't just do this and then go out and then go back in. She won't spawn because she wasn't there to begin with. You have to go to another place where she can spawn, see if she's there or not, and then she may have a chance to spawn in the other location after that, so... Yeah, it's not ideal, it's not optimal, but it's what I'm doing right now, so... Probably won't get to the raiding the Crystal Tower part today, actually, now that I'm looking at the clock, because it's 9:53. But that's okay, because I didn't really want to do 2 passes of the dungeon to begin with. I was saying originally we were going to do 3 separate passes, so the first pass was going to be going through the Ancient's Maze in Eureka. The second pass was going to be grabbing all of the treasure in the Crystal Tower and then teleporting out to make last-minute preparations, and then the third pass was going to be going through the Crystal Tower with no treasure to grab and then beating the game. But... I mean, if I just combine the second and third passes together, it's probably more efficient. And then I'll be at a lower level for the final boss, which is nice for me because I need the challenge. I can already one-shot every enemy on the way there. Well, not the bosses, but, you know, the regular enemies, 1 barrage will take them out. Yeah, wow, that sucks. Mandatory backtracking. Yeah, it's unfortunate because you can't get this until you've unlocked Eureka, and so then... I mean, you don't need these weapons to beat the game either, but... you know, they're really nice, so... especially this one. So you get the Scholar card for the Master Scholar. Oh, by the way, here's a nice thing, too. If you're playing alongside me, and you're planning on getting all of these cards, which you get for getting all the jobs to job level 99, first of all, you only need 1 character to master the job. So you can kind of split the workload to where everybody masters about 6 jobs, and then 1 person only masters 5. And then you'll be able to get all of the cards that way. And the second thing is the way that we've done it in this playthrough is I've already used Thief and Scholar and have gotten them to job level 99. Those are the only 2 classes in the game that do not have access to the Guard command, which means if you want to do the training to get the cards from this point, all you need to do is go find goblins around and then guard in battle until you get the job levels, and that's it. But more importantly, we get the Omni Tome, so another tome that Ingus can equip. Ingus. But it's better than the Tomes of Fire, Ice, and Light for him. As you can see, here's his stats currently. 60 Intellect, 41 Mind. If we equip the Omnitome along with the Cognitome, first of all, 208 attack, so now his physical attacks can actually damage things again, which is really nice. But second of all, 67 Intellect, 48 Mind now. Still really low Vitality, but hey, you work with what you've got, right? Alright, 2 more. I think Viking is going to show up next, so we'll have to get that one even though I don't need it. And then after that, we'll... I mean, I guess I could equip Eric with a different job and just, like, not have him on Viking, but it's fine. Oh, okay, she spawned quickly. That's good. Yeah, so we'll get Viking first. So we can see the Viking card, first of all. And second of all, the Mighty Hammer. So, yeah, another hammer that the Viking can equip. I think it's also lightning elemental, just like most of the hammers. So this one's probably similar to the Thor's hammer from Final Fantasy 1, except it probably actually inflicts damage, unlike that one. Yeah, lightning damage, 145 attack on this thing, so that's pretty good. I mean, you'd have 67 attack if you dual wielded the Mighty Hammer and the dual Haken, so pretty great. On top of that as well, so currently Eric has 38 Vitality. Kind of low, actually. But if you equip the Mighty Hammer, now he has 58 Vitality. So it gives plus 20 to Vitality, but again, I don't really see much of the point because that bonus does not increase the amount of HP he gains at a level up. If it did, it would be awesome, but it doesn't, so I don't see the point. It probably, like, makes it easier for him to resist status effects or something, but at this point in the game, you don't need to do that because you have the Aegis Shield or ribbons, so... well, a ribbon and 3 Aegis Shields, so I don't know. It's so obviously Mjolnir. Yeah, absolutely. And in case you were wondering why I stuck, like, Odin and all that stuff, well, I guess it's really only Odin, but in case you're wondering why I stuck Odin and the other summons on Eric, it's because he's on the Norse mythology class. Figured might as well, it only makes sense. Alright, 1 more left, just gotta get the Bard level 99 item. And it's surprisingly a really good item, despite the fact that it takes up the head slot for armor. I would think that with the ribbon being the ultimate headgear, a headgear piece would not be so great, but then I thought about it and I was like, you know who is really the only person that I actually need the ribbon for in this game is not the super boss, the final boss, because they have an attack that can inflict every status in the game on you. So really the ribbons are mainly for that boss fight. Everything else, I don't think I really need it. I'd rather have the raw defense and magic defense from other stuff, and the one that Bard gets, well, we're gonna see it right now. Because here she is again. The one that Bard gets is actually really good, so... The Ballad Crown. Nice. Thanks for all the help. All of that stuff will come in handy. So let's take a look at it. So currently, Refia's got... We're looking at Vitality and Mind mainly for this one. So 33 Vitality, 46 Mind. If we take the Feathered Hat off and we stick the Ballad Crown on, first of all, massive defense boost, plus 25 defense, and then I don't remember how much magic defense. Hang on, let me look. So she has 77 right now. And then if we equip this, 95. So that's plus 34 magic defense, plus 35 physical defense, and now she has, so she had 33 vitality, now she has 43, and she has 56 mind. I think the Feathered Hat gave her a little bit, but, yeah, so she has, it gives you plus 10 vitality and mind, which are stats that, really, mind is important for the Bard because it lets them resist magic attacks even more than they used to, and, I don't know, vitality is probably useful for physical defense as well, but... Either way, it's really solid, and I'm going to hold on to it for her until we get more ribbons, because that'll be the only point where I really want to swap from that. So, okay, that's all of the super items that we needed. I didn't have the chance to grab these in the DS version because Mognet was not quite as easy to access in that version, so I'm glad to be able to use them here because they will make carving a path through the remainder of the video game pretty easy, although there's really only, 2 dungeons left to do that in, so not really a big deal. Alright, so I think the last thing we'll do, I'm going to go back to Falgabard to grab Yoichi arrows, because I apparently forgot to do that just a minute ago when I went there to get the ultimate weapon. But, once we grab those, I'll go back through the Ancient's Maze, I'll put Thief on to see if I can find the King Behemoth again, just in case, and then in between episodes, what I'll do is I'll get those last 2 Protect Rings that I want, and then we'll come back, and we'll do that from there. Okay, hang on. Let me get in the Invincible first. I topped off all my other arrows, so I should be in very good shape for that. Like, I shouldn't need to buy any of those, basically, and we'll have more than enough ammunition to get through the rest of the game after this. I've got, like, sleep arrows, poison arrows, magic arrows, Medusa arrows, and Yoichi arrows, so, like, way more than we'll ever need to finish up the game after this point. Excuse me. I'll try to use the weaker arrows first, but probably for the boss fights, I'll just equip the Yoichi arrows and go nuts. Or the magic arrows, depending. So, let's see. Weapon shop. Wouldn't it be funny if the if she spawned in Falgabard as well and I just got supremely lucky? I do know where she spawns in Falgabard, actually, so I could go check. I think. She doesn't spawn where she spawned before. I think she spawns across the bridge here. So, and I mean, I guess if she did, I could show off the other... well, she's not here. I think she'd be right in front of the house there, so... But I could show off for Thief, because Thief is the other job level 99 class I have. That was what I was talking about, actually. So Thief gets a Gladius, which is a knife that inflicts... I think it inflicts wind damage, but it gives you plus 20 agility. Their throwing weapons, I think, are a little bit better for them. Black Mage gets the Lilith Rod, which gives plus 20 intellect, and it can be used in battle to cast Death, which is a level 8 spell that the Black Mage normally does not have access to, so that's pretty neat, I guess. Let's see what else. White Mage gets the Angel Robe. We'll actually see the Angel Robe because I'll have that equipped for the super boss fight. That gives plus 20 mind, and it gives plus 45 defense and magic defense, which is very surprising. Most of the time robes don't have that kind of physical defense on them, and definitely not where it's like the same as the excuse me, as the magic defense, so let me just check and make sure I've got everything I need. Really, it's just the arrows, I guess. And I'll leave the poison arrows on for now, just because those are the ones I'd want to start with, so. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the Ancient's Maze then. We'll wander through there. I'll switch to Thief when we get to the last area, just in case we find the King Behemoth. But if we don't, like I said, I'll just find him off screen. I'll steal. The objective with the King Behemoth, in case anybody didn't hear, is I want to steal 2 Protect Rings, so that I have a Protect Ring for Refia and a Protect Ring for Ingus. They're not really necessary, but it will mitigate some of the damage we would otherwise be taking in the later boss fights of the game, like some of the final boss fights. So I'd rather mitigate the damage if I can. They're not necessary, but hey, I have them in the super boss file anyway, so I might as well try to be consistent at the very least. A back attack from these guys is the last time that I see them. Probably anyway, the last time I see them. Because with the super boss fight, I only need to, whatchamacallit. Yeah, see, look at how little damage that did. With the Protect Rings on, just nothing at all. But yeah, with the super boss fight, I actually only need the Nautilus, so we won't be flying anywhere in the Invincible. Although I guess you could get into random encounters on the Nautilus too, but we're not going anywhere where that's going to actually happen, so. There's the Omnitome in Ingus's left hand there. Artemis Bow and Lunitz, although he's not currently using it. It's a little blocky, but, you know. It's telling that you're planning around the bonus boss instead of the final boss. Yeah, I don't want to say anything, but the final boss is still challenging, just not nearly as challenging as the bonus boss. But the Protect Rings help for some of the final bosses of the game, not necessarily the super boss, because he doesn't use any elemental magic, but it'll help, so. I didn't use anything there, I just used the Dream Harp, so we're at full HP, right? Yeah, I don't need to heal, so. Yet another thing that I really like about having a bard in the party is that I don't have to keep stopping off because I use MP to heal. Not that I don't have enough elixirs for that, but, you know. Alright, let me save real quick, and then, you know what, because I'm probably going to be on autopilot here, let's just stick Eric and Thief right now. Just so that way I don't, like, run into the guy and kick myself for not doing it later. Yeah, I'm surprised, actually. I expected, like, I've seen the damage that he deals with these. I expected them to do more damage at job level 99, but I guess I haven't ever really been working on Eric's arm strength, so that's probably part of the problem with his damage output being not so great, honestly. I don't know. Either way, it's fine. But yeah, Chris, as you'll see on Thursday's stream, there's a very specific reason why I'm planning around the super boss fight. It requires that kind of preparation, unfortunately. It requires a little bit of foresight and not selling important items like your Bacchus's ciders, although actually, quite honestly, I only need one of them, so. And I might not even need the one, but I think it just makes it a little more consistent near the end of the fight when he starts getting really pissed off and starts doing massive damage to you, so. But we'll get there. Not just yet, but we will get there. Probably tomorrow's stream will be a shorter stream because we'll be able to get through the whole Crystal Tower and final dungeon in a very short period of time. Well, not very short. It'll probably be like 2 hours, so. Let me fast forward through this as well because we don't really need to. We've seen all these enemies before. We know what's happening here. I'm dealing even more damage because I have the best bow and arrows in the game. Well, I don't have the best arrows equipped right now, but the best bow is on my side here. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I can probably just leave auto battle on, quite honestly. Ooh, nice hits, Ark. Eric. Ark. My old way of saying his name came back right at the end. That's okay. Probably watch tomorrow too, since you want to know how this game ends. Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, it'll be probably a shorter stream, so probably a couple of hours. We'll be starting at the same time, so 7:30 Eastern time, and then there you go. Yeah, I'll be back, and then I'll be Mozart. But yeah, so we'll be back shortly, within 24 hours to finish this up, and then Thursday we'll do the super boss fight. And also, I think it's worth mentioning, there are random enemies in the area that you can go to in order to find the super boss, which we haven't shown that area yet, but I will show it. I Actually, I probably should have shown it before I came back in here, because you have to like look at all of the Mognet letters in order for that area to even spawn. In order for the rest of the Mognet letters to spawn, basically you need to read the letters from the Four Old Men and the letters from King Alice now. We'll read those on Thursday, if I remember to do that, but in order for those to even spawn, you need to have unlocked the way to Eureka, and also have at least one job at job level 99. There's, apparently, according to the internet, there's other requirements too, like you need to have seen at least 80% of the bestiary or something like that. I've never really had a problem with that, because it's really hard to run away from fights in this game anyway, so I just fight everything. But apparently that's also a requirement. I don't know how true that is, but it is, apparently. So, yeah, take that for what you will. And, I know that it spawns, basically, because I've already done a practice run where I've beaten the super boss off-screen, so I'm not really all that concerned about it. Alright, almost back to the screen. Yeah, pun intended. There you go. But yeah, I'll probably, well, I mean, I was going to use reverse psychology, be like, yeah, probably won't run into the King Behemoth here. I'll do 3 laps around the room, but we're almost to that room now. So, if we find it, cool. We can try to steal Protect Ring, although, knowing my luck, even if I do find the damn thing, with it being a 1% encounter rate, probably what'll happen is I'll go to steal from it, and I'll steal an elixir instead. Those are the first 3 slots of it stealing, are elixirs, and then only the job level 99 slot is the Protect Ring, so... Not easy to get, but... Excuse me. The plan is to get 2 of them, so we'll see how that goes. If I get sick of it, I'll just beat the game without them, because, like I said, I have them on the superboss file. Actually, the way that it worked on the superboss file is I encountered the Behemoth King on the way through here, like the first time I came through, so I just stole from it then, so that was a 3rd Protect Ring. And then in one of the random wanderings, while I was wandering back and forth, like going to Eureka and then leaving to get all these super powerful items, and then coming back in, at some point in there, I don't remember exactly where, I found another King Behemoth and then got another Protect Ring from that one, so... I think if I remember correctly, there's a trick to spawning it as well, although I don't know if that works in this version. I'm pretty sure in the DS version, the way that you could do it is you could leave the area, so like go north of the Ancient's Maze and save, like make a hard save, completely shut off the console, so like hard power off, everything off, and then after you do that, you can turn the console back on and come back into the Ancient's Maze. And if you battle 3 battles, but you finish the first 2 battles in just 1 round, it will manipulate the game's RNG and it will automatically spawn the King Behemoth. I have not been able to get that to work in this version, so it may just be because I'm on an emulator, or it may just not work in the PSP version, like the item duplication glitch, but either way, I had to find them manually, so... You'll probably know if you do find them, though, because instead of immediately spawning the enemy in, the game will just pause for a little longer on the screen transition. Like, you'll see the white screen for a little longer. So, alright, well, it's 10:13. Let's just fight things until I get sick of doing this and try to see if we can find the King Behemoth, so I can get at least one of the Protect Rings while I'm on screen, so I can at least show it off, you know. I'd rather not say that it's a thing and then just not show it, because then it's like, okay, but is it really true, you know? I don't want to leave anybody with any questions or doubt, you know. So we'll just hang out. We'll see what we can find. Oop, that didn't kill me. Never mind. And I don't mind wasting the ammunition in here because it's not really a huge deal. Like we're using the poison arrows right now. We have sleep arrows, Medusa arrows, magic arrows, and Yoichi arrows to burn through. And we won't need all of that ammunition by the time we're done in here, so yeah. Probably what I'll do, though, is I'll probably leave the Ancient's Maze, and I'll go back and sell stuff that I don't need in between this stream and the next stream. I'm not sure about that yet, but maybe I will. No, I guess I don't need to use Payon. I can be using, whatchamacallit instead. Minuet. I'll probably need to use Payon, though, if we find the King Behemoth, because he's got a nasty spell that he can use. Yeah, I don't know why the harps do that with where like they suddenly switch where they are in the order. Usually Madura is supposed to be first, but maybe because there was an empty item slot or something, and then it switched into that empty slot. I don't know. I wonder how Unei would feel about the fact that Xande has just been cloning her over and over again. Yeah, so like this is what it's supposed to look like, usually. I'd probably be pretty miffed if somebody decided it would be a great idea to clone me and, you know, turn my skin inside out while they're in the process of doing that. Wouldn't exactly be the most flattering imitation, that's for sure. Let's see. 49. How close are we to 50? Okay, well, we might get to 50 just from randomly wandering around fighting monsters in here, but I'm not really super concerned about that. We'll be like 50, if we get to 50 in here, we'll be like 53. Okay, there he is. Good. We'll be like 53 probably for the final boss fight, so. But yeah, here he is, the King Behemoth himself. So let's see if we can steal the Protect Ring from him. He's got like, how much HP does this guy have? 40,000, I want to say? Let me go back. 45,000 HP this guy's got. Maybe I should equip the magic arrows. No, the poison arrows will do fine. He's actually susceptible to poison, so... And that'll help because he's got a lot of HP. I'm gonna sing Madura and Apollo in a rotation, though, because he will probably smack the crap out of me if I don't do this. So, I think he's also resistant to the elemental attacks, so I'm just gonna throw our last White Musk at him. Why not? Imitation is the best form of flattery, maybe? I mean, I guess, but maybe not if your skin's turned inside out. Just a joke. A quirky little prank. All right, I'm gonna head out. All right, sounds like a plan there, Chris. We'll see you later. Have a good one. We'll be back for the finale tomorrow. I shouldn't kill with this, even with the Artemis bow. As I say, I'm not that strong yet. But I need to slow down on the damage now because I probably did enough to where he's pretty close at this point. So... Oh, good, he's casting it. Meteor! He can throw meteors at us. Oh! Ouch. Alright, we'll keep stealing. We'll sing, I should sing Apollo, actually, to make Meteor deal less damage. And then I'll cast Cura's. I didn't poison him with the poison arrow, so I guess I don't have to worry about that accidentally killing him before I grab the item. Okay, Eric, come on now. I mean, I guess I can just keep doing this, so I'm not really super concerned about it, but... I'm going to need to sing Payon after this, though, because I'm starting to get whacked upside the head, so... let's see... Yep, put that there. Sing this. Cura that. It would be so much easier if I could just kill him, but obviously that's not something that I can do right now. Kind of need what's on his body, so... There we go. That's one. Now will I die before I get a chance to equip it? Yeah, it's not doing too much damage as long as the Apollo Harp is up, but, well, Apollo Harp's not always up, so... Speaking of which, I need to fix that right now. I also need to fix where my harps are in my inventory, but... Alright, we'll Cura again. Okay, he was almost dead to begin with, so it's a good thing I slowed down when I did. But that's 3 Protect Rings! We only need 1 more. Perfect. Let's equip that right now. Who do I want to equip it on? I guess we'll just go... Well, no, you already got the Ballad Crown, so you got a new piece of armor recently. So, Ingus, here you go. You get it. And then we'll... oh, yeah, I should probably also do this. And then... let's put that there. And then do that, so that way everything's in order. Also, we took a little bit of a beating from that fight, but that's okay. I have plenty of cures. I have 24 of them, so let's just top everybody off. So yeah, having found that guy, I think it's almost a confirmation at this point. I will definitely head back to the Invincible. I'll sort my inventory out, and I'll... So what I'll do is I'll get the 4th Protect Ring, just from wandering around and finding the guy. I'll sort my inventory out. I'll rest so that way I'm at maximum HP, and I'll top off all my arrows while I'm there as well. And once I do that, I'll just do all that off-screen just because you don't need to see all of that. And then once I do that, we can confront the Crystal Tower. I'll run one more lap around this room just in case I manage to get extremely lucky, but I kind of doubt it. Like I said, he's a 1% spawn rate, so Not very likely. But you never know. I could be lucky enough to have played the lottery today. I haven't played the lottery in years, though. Okay, there he is, although this is a back attack, so I don't know if this is going to work out very well for me. This will deal the same amount of damage. Oh! But yeah, as you can see, with me in the front row, youch. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Well, I definitely need to sing Payon, so let's barrage him, steal, sing with the Dream Harp, and then I guess you have to Cura. Even though I don't know how much good it'll do, because we're still all in the front row, so we can still all be absolutely yeeted by this guy, but there's the 4th Protect Ring real quick. I guess it's only going to last 2 rounds, this fight, but it's whether or not we'll survive the 2 rounds, like, all together is the trouble. Ow. Ow. You're an asshole, you know that? Well, he's poisoned, so I guess at least there's that. So the thing about Phoenix Downs, right, I don't think I mentioned this, is Scholars actually don't get double benefit out of Phoenix Downs. They do get double benefit out of every other healing item, but not specifically Phoenix Downs, unfortunately. I don't know why that's the case, but they just don't. I guess Apollo Harp, and then... I don't want to kill the guy right now, because if I do... You know, maybe I can cast Toad on him. It'd be really silly if this actually worked. I don't want to kill the guy right now, because if I try to throw an item at him as Ingus, and Ingus goes before Lunith, then that means that, well, Eric doesn't get the experience for this, and this guy gives a lot of experience, so... Alright, go Toad. Beat him up. Damn it. Don't hit Eric. You fucking asshole. Stop that. Stop killing my guys as soon as I get them up. That's not okay. Dream Harp, I guess. I'm gonna throw the item. I'm gonna have the faith that Lunith will go before Angus goes. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I'm gonna pray. How about that? I'll pray. Okay, he did go before Angus went. Good. Let's see if this is enough to kill. I probably should have used the Chocobo's Wrath, but it's not. Okay. And, well, Eric is dead again. At least we're finding use for those Phoenix Downs, but most of us are going to be dead at the rate we're going here. I mean, I'll be able to survive long enough for him to eventually die to the poison, but yeah, this is not sustainable. Probably what I'll do is I'll teleport out after this so I can cap off my HP. Alright, now don't attack Eric, you giant asshole. Oh, he did it anyway with Meteor. I mean, I guess he didn't attack Eric specifically, but... don't go. I need both of you to... I guess just do that. I mean, at this point, it's a losing battle. I can just kill him, but I am absolutely canonically refusing to kill him unless I happen to have everyone up at the same time, because it's just stupid to not do that. So I guess Refia is going to be the only one getting experience from this. Good job, fellas. You're taking a dirt nap and letting her be ahead of you. But we got all 4 of the Protect Rings now, so was it worth it? I'm going to say yes. She'll get her level before everybody else now, but that's okay. I'm going to say yes, it was worth it. Phoenix Downs a go-go, though. Alright, and then let's just teleport out of here, since I have the 1 MP left. Okay, so here's what I'll do. So we're going to end up back out by the entrance to the Ancient's Maze, where the Invincible is. Let me go heal up, since that was a shit show from getting back attacked. But we got what we needed. So that's the important part. I don't have to do anything off screen now. All I have to do is sell off my stuff. Oops, there we go. All I have to do is sell off my stuff that I don't need. I'll rest now just to get everybody back up to maximum HP. And maximum MP, as it turns out, because Angus used a lot of MP just from fighting that guy. And he wouldn't have even used all that MP if it wasn't for the fact that I was attempting explicitly to not kill him so I could get the Protect Ring and also to get everybody up, but, you know. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make, yeah. That was the gist of that battle. I wasn't willing to make the sacrifices, but the behemoth was poisoned, so I didn't have a choice in the matter. And you know, incidentally, if it wasn't for the fact that my Viking was also my thief, I probably would have been able to manage that a little better, because Eric would have been able to tank those physical hits for about 150 damage per hit. So Meteor still would have been a problem, but it would have been a lot more manageable, so... Either way, we're done. We got all of the stuff that we need. Like I said, I'll just sort my inventory out so that everything is all ready. And we will be on the lookout for a second Crystal Shield when we take on the Crystal Tower, and also a second ribbon when we go to the final dungeon area. But we'll be on our way up the Crystal Tower so that we can confront Xande and save the world on the next episode of Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. I should have made sure that that was... No, that's enough. Which will be happening tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I said it was the finale, right? I hope I just did. I'm not paying enough attention. I'm evidently more tired than I thought I was. Either way, yeah, we'll be back for the finale tomorrow. So, like I said, I'll sort through my inventory, and I'll meet you back on the other side of the Ancient's Maze at that time. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you checking out the stream, and I'll see all of you on the next one, which, as I said, will be tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where we'll finish up the main story of the game. And then after that, I need to do nothing off-screen because I already have a save file prepped and ready to go for the superboss and for the enemies that you can encounter in the same cave where the superboss is, but we'll talk about that later. You know, actually, maybe I'll just sort my inventory here, because if I do that, then we can look at all the Mognet letters tomorrow that I just haven't shown yet. I don't know. I'll figure that out off screen. Either way, until tomorrow, everybody, take care and have a good one. Figures. We had trouble with that guy in the raid in Final Fantasy XIV. I think there were a few people who didn't stand behind the rocks when he meteored in that fight as well. Here we go here, where he gives me trouble again because he decides to catch me from behind while I have a thief in my party. I feel like that shouldn't happen when you have somebody that's that fast. Oh well.